Llama's a very scary.
Because Rev still likes to be aggressive from time to time. Massacre just isn't passive at all because he just doesn't want to play like that.
So it's just recording. So if you guys want to, hello everyone. Hi.
Hey everybody.
I'm not looking up forward.
Sure, buddy.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yes.
So keep saying that.
If you can hear us, well, this will be on YouTube, more than likely. So yeah. So we're gonna talk about some of our thoughts and things on Restitched now that people have actually gone to play it live. So
At EVO.
yeah, at EVO.
So some of us are first time playing it.
Yeah. Surprisingly, even though it's been out for like
3 years.
well, no, not the Restitched. It's been
yeah.
like a couple months now. The fact that you barely put any time into the newbie patch is like, man.
I mean,
shit.
I would have loved to, but I just don't have the means, really. I mean, we put my laptop is right there. We could try downloading it tomorrow for lulz.
Could try for memes.
All right. Iron. For this, why don't we just go from left to right on the character select screen? Talk about the characters.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Controller.
Oh yeah, that.
Can I control the game? I can control it. Cable. Alright. Well, we can talk about one of the stars of the show here.
We're ripping off this band-aid very early, huh?
Yeah, we are.
Really.
Hey man, left to right.
So, I guess I'll go first since I'm the scummy DTR player, you know. I think in this patch, not a lot changes for DTR, honestly. I think the main things, I think the newbie matchup is a bit worse because she just has a bit better options. And the dual vehicle matchup is significantly easier. The SBR changes are something to keep in mind as the character. Because it means you can't just be totally free in like how you're pressuring her. You have to actually kind of respect some more space around her and like how high you are. But overall, the matchup is still pretty plus in his favor, I would say. Like I don't see how he's really gonna be losing in that situation. But you know, aside from that, every other character is just kind of roughly the same in how they are to deal with. You know, Hoka's still the same. Gamagori wasn't really changed at all. Neither was Nanon. Neither was Rakio.
Gama literally had no changes done to him.
Oh,
the only thing,
literally nothing.
The only thing about that matchup is the fact that Gama still can get sticky tick during
yeah, that's the only note is that. Well, I think it's also no, just armor in general. Like you see sticky tick through armor still.
Yeah.
It seems to be a weird thing. I'll have to look into that.
I want to assume that blocking and a blocking state are different.
That is entirely possible.
So there's a chance that, you know, it's checking for armor as a blocking. Actually, Shackle State's different though. Shackle State might just be different, right?
Yeah, I believe so. I had to change several things for that code, so it's entirely possible that.
And honestly, I think that's pretty fine still. I think it's fine specifically for Gamma because it's like it's not gonna give DTR really anything anyways. It's just a bit of chip damage on top of any other more chip he's already doing. Like he's already getting chips through block, right?
Yeah.
So like, I don't see how that's any different than just hitting him raw. But yeah, overall, DTR is still, you love him or you hate him, he's still really the same, at least currently. Whether things will change, who really kind of knows.
Oh, they will.
I have some ideas, some buffs, some nerfs to try and balance him out and kind of round him out a bit more as like a true glass cannon. But time will tell what actually happens to him. Anyone else have thoughts on DTR fighting him or your limited time playing him?
And basically, I still feel that I do feel like a lot of the top tiers getting nerfed makes DTR's situation still better, like you said. So DTR isn't hurting as hard against certain of the characters, but yeah, he's mostly the same.
Well, that's actually funny that most of the top tiers he didn't even struggle with that much. Like,
well, yeah, but whatever struggle he
yeah, like dual wield was even or like -1 at its worst. Mako was pretty fucking easy, and Inamuta was rough only in TOC, which he still is rough in TOC, but DTR wasn't worried about Inamuta the same way other characters were. So in reality, the only like, you know, top tier that really hasn't changed that he has to like still respect is like just Nanon and Gamagori with what they're doing. Like, you know, Nanon and Gamagori, both of them are unchanged really, so he's still he's still suffering in the same ways with them.
Yeah. And Diva.
I mean, I do know with the one sticky tick nerf that he got. I mean, it's kind of a buff since the second he hits you, he gets immediately steals your meter.
I think it's just a different mindset because it's
No,
still.
I mean, it makes if he does open you up, he gets. A
Yeah,
better
like
reward.
it makes it so that you're not gonna.
But he can't just win by never interacting.
Yeah,
with you, know?
he has to win an interaction to actually hit you. But now when he wins an interaction, he's gonna get more reward from it right away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which I do think that's nice for him.
It's nice for him, but I feel like the being able to just win by passively saying, "Oh, I'm up here."
It's like a passive pressure of that. All of a sudden, he's timing you out, and he has the life lead, even though you're just blocking.
I feel like that was.
Which I fucking that was too much.
Yeah.
Like there's not a lot of things with how the characters play that I think that's too much. But I think that was too much for DTR and how it's built.
Right. Yeah. Like Mo said, it was too much, but I do feel like he was stronger with it because with that DTR has a problem opening up people. This does not open anybody up, and this is a gimmick against most characters.
Yeah.
Especially if you have more of these, you just if you have to throw out great nades more than one time, you just lost your ability to realistically open people up.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Because I'm gonna blow you up right there. No, you're not.
No.
So
you moved away. Like,
the opponent sees that, and they just have to remember where the first set was.
Yeah. Then everywhere else is just kind of safe to deal with, unless you mine them. Which if you mine them, then you just jump over it.
Yeah, these are ground only. So
Or even grounded homie dash works too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
These
can actually
nades
only dash them.
really need just.
They're bad.
Yeah. Which is why I think his game plan overall got weaker because not being able to rely on this means the opponent doesn't actually. The only reason they lose is because they messed up and got hit instead of legitimately getting opened
I mean,
up by DTR.
I feel like when I'm passing the controller,
Yeah.
he still has fairly decent ways because there's obviously my kind of because there's still like say no minute on screen. The threat of this 6A is still strong because you have to respect it. And you see like even like players who are really good at like getting their time, like Alucci. He's really good at like knowing like when to sidestep, when to not. He still gets caught if I do this to his block. Like I guess I should get her blocking first.
It's not like it's gonna help.
Yeah, but it's about sending a message. So just I do this. Oh, block, punch, fucking block. Anyways, doing like that.
Yeah, I think we get the.
And then you do this. Oh, ignited actually.
Iron buff this training.
Like there are ways.
Buff it, dude.
Like he still has ways to kind of mix you a bit. It's just unfortunate just how his nades work. But he does have ways to try and force you to open yourself up.
I think more testing needs to be done because I feel like that setup can. Could easily be beaten.
I mean, it can if you call out the nade throw. If you don't call out the nade throw, then you're kind of in a tough spot because now that hits your block and you just 6As.
Well, I mean, none of that matters until you hit the fire, the ignite, right? Because the only time they gotta care about it is the ignition, and then they could just sidestep out of there.
I mean, couldn't they also just jump? They're ground only.
No. The mines are ground only. The explosions are not.
Okay.
Unless I'm wrong, Bones, correct me if I am.
I don't remember. I think the explosions also might be, but it's hard to actually gauge if the explosions
you
are.
with them while they were in the air before?
Well, once you got them in a combo, nothing matters being ground.
Yeah, once they're in a combo, that's also why I can like do this in a combo. Go hit them, punch, and this still works.
Yeah. Like, have you ever seen Gamagori's BA?
Yeah, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Versus if they were in the air, and 5B would just split entirely.
Yep. And that's how we feel about Gamma. We gotta put him. So we got S tier for like meta defining characters.
Like top tiers, yeah.
Yeah. A tier for very, very good characters.
High tiers and B would be mid.
B would be like can win but have weaknesses, and C tier for this character is hurting.
I think C should be the lowest. Really. S to C.
Should go. So Bones, where in general do you see DTR going?
In general, I kind of see him like probably the higher end of B tier.
Okay.
I don't think he's particularly strong or particularly like threatening as a character. But he's definitely not like a slouch. Like he's a character.
He's got strengths.
Like he is Besides from being a huge knowledge check, he does have strengths, and like there's really only like 2 matchups I would argue that he really does not have much open.
Yeah.
2, maybe 3 if you want to squint your eyes, but then everything else like is either a nice domination or like he has a if he plays smart and plays good, he's just going to be able to make it look like a cakewalk.
Yeah.
Especially with a lot of characters who might still be like really good in this patch, like Mako, like Uzu, like honestly even Nui a bit, and Duo and Ryuko, both the Sasuke's, like especially with Duo Sasuke, him still just being able to dominate these matchups, I think will it means that you can't say he's like not good, because they're like, these are matchups that he's just winning.
Iron.
Yes.
Do you wanna make a tier maker list?
We could just use the template. There's just go to the. Should be in the pins or search history, whatever.
Yes.
Well, I'm also gonna do this because.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna do DTR combos in the meantime.
No.
You're sick.
Yeah,
Got
I'm,
Luke
still not,
ASMR.
I'm still not gonna be in frame. Oh well.
That's
That'll.
fine.
Got Luke ASMR. Let's go.
Yes.
Well, remember, the moment I disconnect from this, it's gonna stop.
Let's see what happens then.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, I was hoping.
Yo! Yeah, this is
That's a fun one. So yeah, well, real quick,
There he goes.
I think DTR's weaknesses do need to be stated, because DTR has some severe weaknesses.
He's a character of extreme strengths and extreme weaknesses.
And I think those weaknesses kind of
Him not having a sidestep that can
involve anything,
involve through break attacks, like just anything really.
Well, yeah,
really matters.
It's also just I think because he can't play passively anymore.
It's a mix of that plus slower speed.
He's
means
slow.
that he's very reliant on his falling back on all of his armor to armor whatever the opponent is doing, or he's reliant on his bullets to keep them away or bait them to do something bad.
Yeah, wait, do you think?
And if there's a character who can't do one of those things to, that's when he struggles.
Yeah.
Like Gamagori. He
Yeah.
cannot
We saw
he
that.
cannot
We
keep
saw that.
he can't keep distance on Gamma, he can't really open him up at all, and he can't really armor most of his attacks.
That's how long it took to load that. No way we're getting a stream. No way.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Wait, no,
That's the wrong list, that's the supers.
Why is that any of that?
Why is that in there?
You're supposed to scroll down farther.
How am I supposed to tell what that is? It literally says
super
0.06.
Yeah, no, the
Super
same.
kill.
The other one says the same thing, just without super in it. You'll find it. It's in there. It's in there. You'll find it. I know for a fact it's in there.
Okay, create a kill game tier list.
Oh, actually, no, wait, no. That should actually that might be the updated one. Just
No, that should be right.
No,
It includes Mako and DTR.
Yeah, it includes Mako and.
Oh wait,
Double
yeah,
Kill.
that might be the one actually.
Yeah.
Yes.
So now we wait.
Yeah, so he's obvious strengths, obvious weaknesses. They balance themselves out in a really strange way, and makes him probably have the most unique matchup charts because there doesn't seem to be anything consistent with what he wins or what he loses to.
Right.
Because he's not like a character who's he loses to all these zoners, loses to all these rushdown. He loses to both zoners and rushdown, but then also beats zoners and rushdowns.
Right.
Like he simultaneously wipes the floor with Mako and loses to Gamma, and then wipes the floor with Duo Sasuke, but then loses to Rakio.
Right.
Like it does not make sense unless you understand how the character works, and then it just seems blatantly
Where are the
obvious.
characters?
Why the hell are the images?
I don't know. You can try hitting reset. Just hit reset down there.
I can't see.
It's below save or download, right? Yeah, right there. Give it time to load.
Because I'm looking at it from here on a big screen, so I see little tiny text.
Just it'll overload.
You have to reload the page, maybe.
How could this happen?
It's not working now.
Because the other one worked.
Yeah, that one's still open?
No.
You want to hit presentation mode? On the left to reset.
So things are still loading.
This website's dying on us.
It's not even the website, it's just the internet.
I think
Yeah.
the internet's just really bad right now. It's also why currently this is a recording on. We wanted to do a live stream, but we're currently doing hotel Wi-Fi.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we've been doing that. I think we're doing the hotspot. Yeah.
No.
Oh, we're doing
My
Wi-Fi.
hotspot's not even better.
That's OD.
Actually, no.
Alright, well, it looks like we're making the tier list later.
No, if you want, I could just type it in notes what we're doing, and then just
Yeah.
we'll make a template later.
Type in notes, and we'll let this thing load as well.
If it ever loads.
Yeah.
It will. It probably will. Because it took the other images a while to load. So
There. I put DTR right there because we got no one else.
Yeah.
Put him high B.
Yeah.
Like high, like the lowest is probably mid B tier.
I would say top.
And that's really depending on what other characters you put there. Like if you
Well, yeah,
put,
obviously we can shift characters around afterward. We get
Yeah.
through everyone. We'll get there when we get there.
Alright, well,
Alright.
that's
DTR.
everyone's favorite character.
Yeah.
Everyone's
the fan favorite.
And as if I wasn't done talking, now we're on Nui.
Yes, this is Bones' other character he plays. Bones has played a lot of characters, and this is near and dear to his heart and his soul since she has done some bad things.
I am going to preface this with the fact that I have not played Patch Nui nearly enough.
Okay.
I played her a little bit before the tournament started, just to kind of get a feel. I know of her changes, because a lot of them were changes I had given to Iron. Like, hey, I think this might be what she needs. I think that might be what she needs. Most of them are more just consistency issues, and then some other buffs include a faster cancel on her 5C or standing guard break, and a faster 6A. On top of having way reduced cooldown on all of her moves. And,
Still base bad. Like, still base, it's lower than everyone else.
Yeah.
but it is significantly lower. Special A also has a speed and distance increase, which is very nice. Especially since he also fixed it a little bit, so now it multi-hits, it makes it way more consistent and less prone to clashing.
Mm-hmm.
So my thoughts on Nui. She is definitely not a top or high tier, but I do not believe she is a low tier anymore. I think that a more defensive and passive Nui can get way more consistent results against a lot of the better characters. And against some of the other characters who got a lot of changes, I think she's going to perform a lot better. Primarily because Nui's biggest strengths are her EX attack, specifically her EX stab and her JAB or the spin, whatever you want to call it. Both of those moves are incredibly quick, armored on their startups, and allow for a good amount of follow-ups on both of them. With her aerial EX attack allowing her to go immediately to scissor drop, and her stab pretty much getting a wall spot anywhere on the stage, which if she knows how to follow it up, she can get a good amount of damage, or even just raw, it is good damage for a single bar meter. And unlike in base game, because Nui is not in a ton of cooldown, but just a moderate amount of cooldown, combined with her already good meter gain, it means that she's going to be able to spend her meter more often, and then be off cooldown to start getting meter again. So it's really able to highlight the strength of her meter spending and meter gain that she really couldn't highlight before. Combine this with what I mentioned before, how her combos are a bit more consistent now. It means that when she's getting her punishes, they are lasting a lot more. My opinion, and maybe a certain someone's gonna tell me no, but I think probably bottom B tier. I don't think above that, but I think she's incredibly functional, and she works really well. I haven't thought too much about her matchup spread, but I do think that while it's not going to be a fantastic matchup spread, it's going to be a very manageable and respectable matchup spread. There are certain matchups she does a lot better in now. Some I think she probably wins now. Other ones that she maybe doesn't win, but it's maybe or only a -1 or just fairly even. But those are my thoughts. But y'all have any thoughts on Nui from what you've seen, what you've heard?
Nui's changes didn't really give her any new options. It made her old options more stable, if I'm correct about that.
Yeah, she's just more consistent than anything now.
Yeah, 6A is actually a move now.
Yeah, like this used to take 2 or 3 times longer. Like.
Yeah, when she holds the sword in the air, it was significantly longer.
Yeah, this used to be really bad.
Because it's meant to be a tell that she's gonna do that move.
It's
meant
a
to be a
big
tell.
move, but man, she did not need that. But yeah, before Nui doing combos would just sometimes drop, and then you just have to hold that. Like it would, no reason for
Yeah,
it. Just kinda
it would just drop, and it would be unfortunate because you'd also be dedicated to that action. So you'd be in this super dedication. They'd have this invuln or wake up, and then you would not be able to actually act and get away. You'd be forced to do either the A ender or the B ender, which just leaves you open to be counter hit and punished.
Right. So on top of Yunui being a very not good character beforehand, her combos would just kind of drop on you. Her cooldowns were the longest in the game for a character who has to spend meter more than anybody, really. Her meter gain's good and still is good, but her meter cooldowns are good right now, which is as they should be, honestly.
Yeah, it's also just a thing too, because in order to, I think Nui and this might be a hot take, I think Nui has one of the better combo games in the game. I think she has a lot of very strong options, a lot of very strong combos, and a lot of different ways to get to what she wants to do. I think there might be some characters who do a bit better, but I think she's one of the top dogs when it comes to combos in this game. But I think the problem before is that during some of her starters prior, in order to actually properly extend them, she would need to spend meter, which, unfortunately, when she spent meter, she would not be able to get any more for a very long time. But this change means that she's able to spend the meter, and at the bare minimum, by the time the combo is done, her cooldowns will also be done. So that if she gets hit, she's not going to be punished for an extended period of time. Or if she gets another hit, she can start getting meter again. Which was a very huge change, because it's very frustrating to spend the meter doing an EX stab, and then starting a combo with it, and then not getting any meter for the entire duration of the combo, and even the beginning of the opponent's combo.
Oh yeah, sometimes if Nui uses an EX move, and it goes wrong, and she gets hit, sometimes she just did die. Depending on who you were fighting, you could have just lost before you could ever try to burst again.
Yeah, but these changes just gives her more access to her strong abilities and her strong attacks, which I think is the most significant thing about this, is that she's able to use these attacks way more often with way less punish. She's not going to be just punished for using an attack, but just honestly proper cooldown, because those attacks are so good they shouldn't just be free.
Yes.
Like if EX stab was just for free, I would say she's a broken character.
Oh yeah, no, just spamming
That's
EX
the
stab.
mix. That's the mix,
It's
Bones.
the mix.
Now, allow me to show you the new Nui special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It works. It works.
Was it
That's
worth-
all armored, by the way.
Fully
For those
armored
who don't
and
know.
plus on block.
Was
And
it
you can
worth
combo
4
off
bars?
of them.
Feels good, dude.
Yep. Now there is an elephant in the room we got to talk about with Nui, in the fact that her one winning matchup before is a good chance that's no longer a winning matchup.
Which one was that?
SDR. SDR can now hit people out of the air.
I still think that Nui SBR can be pretty. I don't think the main reason that the matchup was +1 was just because of the air, but I think it's because Nui was allowed to do what she wanted to do. And it wasn't just because, oh, I'm in the air, you have to respect that, but it's more of, I'm able to keep my distance on you.
Right.
Nui was able to keep her distance a lot on SBR, just because SBR was slow enough, and had just not enough range that Nui could just zone. Plus, I think Nui's buffs also giving her access to her strong attacks now is also going to be really tough on SBR counterweight. Because on one hand, now Nui can't just play the matchup like she used to. On the other hand, now Nui's going to be using EX attacks a lot more. So now SBR needs to deal with those EX attacks a lot more. Like SBR needs to deal with stab way more often. She needs to deal with JAB way more often. Honestly, even some of the supers, she needs to do like special A. She needs to deal with that way more often now.
Right.
Which I think, that could be the fucking difference between making this matchup potentially bad for her or just keeping the matchup how it was, even.
Mm-hmm.
But the other matchups of notes, like obviously DTR, I honestly put Nui at beating DTR now. I think she has, as long as you play defensive, she has the tools to beat DTR in a pretty consistent manner. It's never really an overkill, never super dominating, but if you play smart, play patient, DTR is not going to do that much to you. But in other matchups that I think also Nui gains favor is potentially Single Blade Satsuki. She potentially gains favor with Sonic Gamma now, I feel. I think patched and be able to spend meter more often. Plus, even on some other 8 or giving less meter now, she's going to be able to just, with defensive play, just smoke Uzu. Gamagori, I'm really iffy on, because I think the only funny thing I can think of is just Special C.
Yeah.
Special C against Gamma is a really strong option, because he's just not, if he's up close, he's just not fast enough to get away.
And does this charge B hit the clone and not hit and let it hit himself?
Hmm?
Can he charge B the special C?
He would still get hit. Because
Yeah,
Special C, when Special C gets hit, it just blows up.
Yeah, but,
And
but he's close enough to where it...
Yeah, when something else too. That's funny. Is that if he gets hit, and as long as Dewey didn't get hit, if she presses any button, she'll automatically homie dash to him.
Wow.
So she can extend a combo from the Special C hitting. And again, Special C not having all that cooldown means that now Nui's can use that a lot more. So she can potentially just, I don't say chip Gamma with just Special C, because that's obviously not a strategy that's going to work. But that's something that Gamagori has to be like wary of. That hey, you know, if Nui has 2 bars, she might just do it, because now instead of being 30 seconds of cooldown, I think it's only what, like 10 seconds or 15. I forget exactly.
I think it was 15.
I forget what number it was, but it's like a significant reduction that Nui honestly might just be fine doing the risk for the reward, especially if it's a guard break counter hit that does meaty damage.
Oh yeah, my goodness, it does.
But then
That's a lot of damage.
matchups are generally unchanged though. Stuff like Ragio is really unchanged. I think Duva Sasuke is really.
Nui special aid matters in that matchup now.
I haven't seen it enough.
It does. Trust me, it does.
Diva can talk about this. Diva.
Fair. You want? Here's your chance to complain.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, it's just more so. I mean, when me and Iron were testing it, I mean, because in base game, Nui special aid would just clash with anything, even anything Ragio does, it would just clash, and she would just lose, and she would just get hit. But at least now, with the special A, if Ragio whiffs a button, Nui can't just special A counter hit her and just get 4 or 5k every time.
Yeah.
If Ragio misses a button against her.
Showcase some of this distance. Oh, it's not controlled anymore.
Oh, sorry.
Go on.
So though, I mean, I still think that matchup's mostly unchanged though.
I think it's like this is
for the most
right?
part.
I
It's
think-
just Ragio
Yeah.
can't just whiff shit now. She can't just whiff crap willy nilly. If
Yeah.
Nui has meter.
Yeah, because I think it's like this far roughly for special A.
Yeah, but what it matters now is if Ragio starts trying to like zone out Nui or whatnot, Nui can just sit there, horde meter.
Yeah, because
It's
special
right,
I mean, even if
special
it
A,
is-
she can just hold off meter. And special A is still invincible during its entire duration.
Right. If this is not armored, you can't use
It is
anything to break
straight
through it.
invul, and now that it does not clash anymore, it's going to be beating out. And if you do something wrong, that special A is going to just get you.
And like
Right.
Ragio does have a lot of high startup, high recovery, so it's pretty easy for her special A to counter hit her.
Yeah, I was gonna say Ragio. If Ragio
Her
doesn't
startups are
hit her
very
target,
long.
yeah.
Her startups are very long. So
If she doesn't hit her target, Ragio's probably gonna get hit.
I mean, look, even though Nui's a bad matchup, it's still Ragio.
It's still
If
Ragio.
Nui just decides to be patient, Ragio can't really do much there.
The biggest weakness in this, like, problem for doing this matchup is her clones just don't work, right? Ragio could just.
She can't press the.
It's between clones and East. The old matchup was that I couldn't ever challenge with this because it was too slow.
Right.
There's a chance that I'll be able to do this might also be able to stop Ragio from doing some of her stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because just that reduction on cooldown means I can do this and still sidestep a sweep laser.
Yeah, and then Ragio has to try and deal with that, which she.
Which
should-
then all of a sudden now Ragio's like she can't set up the zoning she wants to do. Which is pretty much with the strength of Nui's 5C cancel anyways. Wasn't ever actually hitting the opponents. But making sure that like was that really like not it gets not on. If I'm getting this out consistently, not on can't get the zoning she wants anymore because now she needs to sidestep out of the way and then do something else.
Yeah, as
she's
someone-
forced to do more awkward zoning.
Yeah, as someone who actually has played that matchup, Nanan actually can't charge anything there. She can't do anything like charge bees. She has to take little pot shots and move, and so does Nui because Nui can't afford to sit there and do anything that takes any amount of time either because Nanan will blast her back.
I mean, I would imagine with Ragio, with JC setups, Nui probably most of the time won't get the time to do that, but if she does get a small window, yeah, it does force Ragio to get a little awkward, but I would imagine Nui can do that better to the other zoners and less so Ragio because she'll have JC out. And she'll
That
just-
assumes Nui. That assumes Nui gets hit.
Well, no, that is. I mean, if Ragio's zoning without JC, well, yeah, she's gonna just be forced to awkwardly zone like everyone else.
I guess just so we don't run on Nui too long, just kind of finalize that all of these things, all these different changes. Why I don't think Nui's definitely a lot stronger. I don't think she's as strong as being dominating, but she now can hold her own in so many more matchups that
She works. I agree.
She works, and she could be really scary if you're not prepared for her.
Mm.
I do think though.
She could be really scary.
I do think though that yeah, she's what your tier placement? Yeah, kind of like lower end of B tier.
Yeah,
bottom
like
B
I
tier.
don't think too strong, but respectable.
Yeah.
Alright,
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
There you go.
good.
Hey.
Just
Yay.
delete D tier. Just get rid of D tier. Remember, we're going from.
Well, we'll
S.
do it later.
Nah, we can just delete it now. Yeah, delete row. To the left,
Delete row.
top left.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. All right.
All right.
Yeah,
now-
because I honestly don't think there's any unplayable characters
All right.
anymore. Because
So
there was one that
Nui bottom of.
Nui bottom of B, then
And
DTR
TTR
top
right
of B.
above. Yeah.
Yeah,
Alright.
like that.
I guess we'll go to Mako next. Since she's right there.
All right. I guess we're doing this. This.
Mako Gaming.
Mako Gaming.
All right. Guess we're going to Mako.
So we go from a character who changed a lot to a character who didn't change at all.
Surprisingly, one thing as well though to note, it is 900. Nui's 6A does 900.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it breaks through the. It has just enough to break through Mako Bat.
That's actually I didn't realize.
So-
Granted, I've never used Nui 6A.
Yeah, it's a
so-
thing. It's I looked for a lot of.
That's
Don't blame
gonna be
you.
something
It's-
you're gonna have to get used to having a real 6A.
Yeah.
I'm
6A
gonna have to. I was always it was always 5A or nothing for me.
Mhm.
Now 6A.
This button doesn't exist.
Well, hold on, folks. 8A funny button.
It's so much worse than 5A.
It has invul.
But it's fun.
But only the dashes.
Yeah.
But 5A hits just as high
Okay,
and
but there's
harder.
a lot of dashes, good dash moves in this game, though.
Yeah, but I can also just 5A the dash.
5A's funny.
It's a little risky.
It's disjointed though.
No, but
It is- well-
with the 5A's funnier. You've seen how high it hits.
I see. Well, yeah. The important part is stopping aggression. But yeah. Well, for now, we're gonna talk about Mako. This bat used to be the bane of a lot of
Every
people.
player's like, I don't think there's a single
Every
I don't think there's a
freaking
single
player.
player I've met who's not at least once gotten aggravated at Mako bat.
I agree.
I can't think of a single player except for players who have not fought Mako.
Or players who haven't played the game.
Who have not fought Mako or play Mako. You know who you are.
Yeah, you know who
You know who you are.
This message is for you know who you are.
But good news to Mako players, she's about the same. The only change that she's really gotten is that her 5C now has 900 armor
All
instead
of
of
the armor
9,000.
bats.
I thought only 5C had the 9,000 armor though.
No, all the bats.
Yeah, all of our bats.
I thought JC was.
No, all of our bats have 9,000.
Yep. If it had armor on it, if the bat had armor, it was 9,000.
Well, now it's been toned down from 9,000 to 900, which is still a very respectable amount.
There's
still,
not a lot of
there's
people.
That's
not
still a lot of armor.
there's not a lot of moves. So if you're playing Mako, you're still going to be armoring a lot of the same attacks, but now you're not going to be armoring Ragyo 5C. You're not going to be.
We don't talk about
You're
that.
not going to be.
We don't talk about that.
You're not going to be armoring like moves
Supers.
that do multiple thousands of damage.
You know, or entire super.
But most normals or like most auto combos that people might do to you that you're used to armoring with 5C, you're still gonna armor with 5C. You have other Makos who do their guard breaks, you're still gonna be armoring.
No, because it deals 1,000 for the bat.
I thought it was on counter hit though.
No, bat deals 1,500.
Well, let me hit someone with this bat real quick.
I was right.
No.
Yeah.
1,500.
So Mako bat will break Mako bat now.
Oh man, that's gonna change the matchup so much.
Yeah, Mako actually has to worry.
Yes,
Yes, has to worry now.
So now the player with the better reaction times wins.
Yo, we flipped this matchup. We flipped this mirror matchup.
Okay, 5C does 1,500. That does not as much. That does a little.
I think you're also doing more intention though too.
I am doing a little more
No, yeah, no,
attention.
damn
My
it,
attention one, I was doing 1,500 with 5C.
Yeah, and then there's also I think it was 600 with JC or that.
No, I think doesn't bat only increase the damage with power.
No, because like at bat, he was at tension 1 and his JC only did 600. Then he went to 2 or 3 and it did 700. So once he got another hit out of nowhere.
Give me that attention.
But yeah, Mako essentially the same. They're just different characters have different attacks. You just have to be wary that you can't armor anymore. But you're still gonna be armoring most everything just fine.
Yeah, because like certain ones, like another one is SBR Special A. That breaks through Mako bat armor now.
Yeah, essentially it's just any one shot, one hit super, Puma has a pretty good chance of breaking the bat.
Yeah, well, any moves that like before the swing can collectively deal 900, you have to worry about. But so essentially, you're just kind of similar to DTR armor, but you're a bit safer because you have a lot more leeway with it.
I mean, there are those some supers that I can think of that don't follow that. Mainly supers that like do all of their damage in multiple hits and not like an initial hit like Ragyo SBC.
Or you like Nui special A too.
Mhm.
It's only
Yeah, or-
100. It's only 100 initial. and
Or
then-
like Nui SBB, right?
Oh yeah, Nui SVVs like it's a good amount of damage, but spread out through.
It's
different
more like a
attacks.
volley kind of, same with
Yeah.
like Rock USBC.
So a good Mako will still be able to back cancel and tank
like
it all.
like
Yes.
Rock USBC will still
Yeah.
lose and
Yeah,
stuff like
but-
that. Same with Nui SPV, etc. There's tons of other supers, but you know.
Yeah.
But again, that's still a skillful thing. It's not just they turn off their brain.
What do you mean, Iron?
Sometimes that shit can be had, man.
Yo,
Right.
it's
I mean,
so hard to
I do have to point out, it doesn't really matter, but the matchup with Mako versus Nana did in fact get worse for Mako.
Yes.
Actual +5
but,
matchup.
I mean, the
Against
plus-
She already lost
The
anyway.
+5 went to +5. I
Yeah,
think.
like,
we
but +5 gets a +5, but harder. Like, originally Nana didn't have the ability to use SBC to do more damage to Mako, now she can. And there's just nothing Mako can do about it. So, it doesn't matter at the end of the day, it's just something that shows that it does something. The nerf did do something. I think Uzu likes the buff, or the nerf to Mako, I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, don't his guard breaks do pretty hefty amount of damage?
600. It's not that, it's just his
Not all. I know not
Yeah,
all.
it's
not all
not
of
the
them
gag
do
breaks, it's his ranged attacks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Those range attacks can actually do enough damage to pop the armor, so Mako actually has to respect it. So Uzu's kind of actually zoning in this matchup because he's threatening
the best
charge me.
zoner.
Yep.
He's just over here charging me and then just like that, except I'm doing it with Mako. But yeah, what do you guys think? Still A tier?
I still think A tier. I think probably a bit lower end on A tier because now there's a bit more that can be challenged with her. But overall, her game plan and how she's being played is still exactly. She's still gonna be regardless of the bad armor. She's still gonna be. She loses till she doesn't.
Yeah.
Because even with bad armor, tension is still a thing that every character is gonna have to worry and be at bane of. Not even if Mako somehow gets tension, not even Nanon is safe.
Yeah, no, that.
Not
If
even
Nana gets touched, you
Not
messed
even
up.
Nanon is safe from tension if she messes up once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I still think that puts Mako at like probably the lower to mid end of A tier.
I was going to argue high end of A tier, but it's mostly just the same argument as you. I just find her, I guess, not too worse enough than her base game counterpart to be low end of A. At least.
I'm more basing it.
If I get a vague idea of where other characters.
I'm more basing on how I think other characters are. I think other characters are going to deal with her a bit easier, which I think is significant. Because
some characters
like Nui, was already going pretty even with Mako, and now I think she has more of an advantage, just because now Bat isn't going to be as scary. She's not just losing that when she gets close.
Yeah, there are a few. Aren't there a few characters that even with the bat change don't really change their matchup much?
There's a lot of characters actually like that. Like, there's generally, like, obviously against Nanon, it doesn't matter much. Honestly, I don't think it matters much. It matters that much in Ragio.
Oh, I know it doesn't.
So those two matchups don't matter. Hoka, she still gets zoned out by cubes.
I think it's just mostly just a case of a lot of the characters that she could just dominate with now even have a option to challenge and beat that bat.
Mm-hmm.
So now all of a sudden the matchup isn't as scary. So they can just play how they were before, but they get more out of it.
And again,
But again,
everyone's
it's still Mako. It's still Mako.
She still has
Mako's still gonna be stupid. I just don't think she's gonna be as ridiculous because characters have just a bit more options against her.
Yeah.
So like there's a bit more leeway because now you're not going to see her go up in tension because you press the 5C button in your face. If she does that, she does it wrong, and you have a move to break it. You can't break it. You just not hear that.
I mean, I do still think though, since I guess since Mako can't just bat everything now. I mean, could you see some Mako's using her Valor more now, which her Valor is really strong.
Potentially.
Because
Iron?
she gets flying Mako from that too, and she can
Does
stall out those
Mako
characters.
Bat get
It gets
or
better.
is Valor 1 Mako Bat and Valor 0 Mako Bat two different moves in the code?
I think so.
I believe they
They're
are.
actually
Probably.
Yeah, 'cause
So
it's a
yeah,
different
each,
properties.
each
It's a different.
tension one has different properties.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
Valor-
in
Valor
Valor,
has-
in Valor, her guard breaks
Does that
change too.
mean that the armor value is still the old one?
It would work on the same thing. I'm pretty sure I tested this. It would work off the same
If
one.
you tell,
No,
okay.
Yeah.
It's just the fact though that like Valor automatically puts her attention 3, and if she was already
Yeah.
at
No, but she
Yeah.
gains tension a lot easier now too. So once she
Yeah,
gets
it's almost impossible.
once she gets Valor, she's gonna be you're
She's
playing
just
her
one
at
of the
tension
games,
3.
And like each one is their own move. I'm pretty sure in the code. Like
Yeah.
each like tension level move has their own shit, which makes her impossible to work on because there's 4 times as many moves as everyone else.
If you include Valor.
Yeah.
I guess what
And
I'm,
then more. She's a nightmare. Mako's a nightmare.
just like what I'm trying to get at is mainly I only think she's higher end of A because of just how powerful her Valor is and how she can.
Her Valor is powerful, but I feel like the
Flying Mako, she
you
can also
kill her
stall
without
out.
it.
She can also stall out like over half the cast for free for their whole game.
I wasn't playing because I just don't think she changes that much because her Valor is already strong already. So I don't think
I do still think
I don't
she
think
goes
she's
down, just not that much.
I don't think she's changing while other characters are changing around her. And I think other characters are changing around her and it's better than how she's just being stagnant.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I agree with it.
Yeah, I'll agree too. She's like just A tier.
Yeah.
Until
She's
she's not.
She's definitely not going to be bad. The Mako is just a very difficult character to gauge because
Because tension.
She's bad until
because
she.
of tension.
If you
She's
go by
bad until
if you
she's
go
not.
by tension 1, she's at the very bottom. If you go by tension 3, she's gonna be near the very top.
Tension 4, she's literally the best in the game. Basically.
She's just a very difficult character. Even pinning down matchups. Like there's some matchups you can be like, oh yeah, that's just
Because they get bad a lot.
non-on's just a loss. But then other matches like how do you really gauge how well she does against Goblin?
The most you can really do is aside from ranking each tension level, you
you have
try
to
to find that middle ground.
You have to figure, or you can figure out by playing it how I think honestly I gauge matchups with Mako based on how easy is it to keep her attention 1.
Right.
How
That is a good
how
one.
easy is it to keep her attention 1 or attention 2? If it is very easy, the matchup's in your favor. If it is very difficult, Mako has the advantage. That's how I've always gauged placing Mako in a tier list. Not in a tier list, in a matchup chart.
Yeah.
That's my mentality for the past, I guess, close to 3 years now that she's been out. It's just always been tension. Focus on that because every other aspect of her kit does not matter when
It's
it's
just
compared to
tension.
tension.
Tension's all that really matters.
Where's the snacks? Where's the foods?
What?
They're over there.
Oh, okay.
So who's next? If we're all agreeing that Mako is basically just
Yeah.
middle of
Like mid A tier.
like mid A tier, yeah.
Mid-end.
So I mean, she's really honestly, I think she's mid A tier to begin with already.
Yeah.
So I don't think she's really changed at all.
Yeah, even on my tier list, I had technically what is A tier for this list was S tier on mine, which is irrelevant. It's the same hierarchy, but I had Mako on the complete lower end. You've seen my tier
Yeah,
list.
yeah.
I had her below No. She was at the bottom of my S tier for me. She was at the bottom, which is basically this tier list is A
Yeah.
tier. So she really hasn't changed much.
Yeah. She's fine.
Yeah.
Well, she is what she is. It's Mako. It's just
Mako is
Championship.
Mako.
It's just Mako.
She'll always aggravate everyone.
Yeah. Did you already put her there, Iron?
Oh, yep. You got controls. Yep.
No, I mean on the.
Yep.
That. Okay, cool. Next is Satsuki, I guess.
Single blade.
Single blade Sasuke, right?
Single blade
Yeah,
Satsuki.
that's single blade.
Satsuki.
She did get a change where her break attack specifically give less meter. Bones, can you start doing single blade combos and take a look?
I will try my hardest.
Well,
Or
as
would you rather me do it?
Brother, I don't know how combos work.
Alright, bet.
Yo,
I'm working on it.
work on it harder.
It's time for me to suffer.
Yes, it is.
So yeah, that was her biggest weakness. The fact that her combos gave so much meter, you could burst her literally all the time, or you could just decide to just not burst her at all for a while.
Yeah, well, it was that mix of that she has a lot of burst. She had a lot of burst points in her combos, and then she also gave you a lot of meter.
She also just does not do a lot of damage. She has some of the lowest damage in the game hit for hit. She does very low damage.
God, this combo.
So you could honestly just tank her combos for so long and you wouldn't even lose 40% yet. And you already have 3 bars of meter, 4 bars. So you could just kind of burst her.
Oh, that is.
You'd always have to force her back into neutral often, which most of the time was not good because she's way too honest of a character. A lot of characters have a lot of grime in this game, and she kind of lacks that. So her being forced back into neutrals often against these characters with way more bullshit moves.
With way more oppression than she's capable of.
Yeah, which never, and also the fact that she has such a low health pool at only 9.5k.
And unlike some other which I think is also very huge for where I think her placement is. she also lacks a good number of defensive options. She has defensive options, but she doesn't have that many, especially not many really good ones.
Her
They
good ones are
exist. They exist, but I don't think they are that particularly strong.
weird. Aren't her really only good ones just her supers, really? I mean, just SBA or SBC, but like those are supers. Those are metered options. Like in terms of meterless options, she doesn't really have anything that notable for defensive options, really. Even her 8A is nothing special. She doesn't have armor on anything that isn't an ender. She doesn't really have invul on, well, really anything that isn't a super or an ender. So, when she's on the back foot, she's never really in a good situation there. So she has to expend meter to usually get out, and people can just dodge it or block it, and read her, and then just hit her. And she has such a low health pool, so even if you do hit her, it's like she might just die.
Yeah, I think her biggest strengths are just as they were before, where against certain characters she can just kind of zone or like keep a certain space.
Especially her dash B.
Yeah, like her dash B is still really good, but she's going to be trying to zone, keep a certain space, and then when she hits you, then try and go in. Which at least with the less meter gain given, when she actually goes in, she can get a bit more off of it. But now maybe that's probably not a hot take, but I think she's the new worst character.
I don't feel like that's a hot take because I
feel like Single Blade Sasuke is the new worst character in this game. I think she is lacking a lot of options that every other character has. Other characters have way more defined strengths. Well, Duo Sasuke doesn't have many strengths or weaknesses, doesn't have many strengths either. I think that's really going to hurt her when other characters are pressing their strengths on top of her.
It's also like she's not really a specialist in any area. Her offense, defense, her mix, nothing's really relevant.
There's nothing you're really almost scared of when you fight a Sasuke, I guess you could say. Like every other character in the game, there's at least something that they do that you're scared of. You know, with Ragyo, you're scared of JC. Mako, you're scared of Bat. DTR, you're scared of Gun. Nui, you're scared of her EX attacks.
Like, what are you scared of on Sasuke?
And Sasuke, you're only scared if they're good. You're scared if they're better. You're scared if they're a better player than you are, because then you're about to get smixed.
The only move I could ever see anyone ever being scared of is maybe Dash B,
or maybe like the first JB if they feel too.
But yeah, but it's like it's not.
Was it the JB finisher? I forget which one it was.
Yeah, but it's like they can still just be.
That I get stuff like moves like her charge B and then A are still pretty good too.
Yeah, but it's not.
They're kind of generic good.
But they're compared to other or even a dual wield version charge B, like it's not nearly as impressive.
I mean,
it's just something that is a strong option she can do.
I mean, we have seen her, especially with players like Rev. I mean, she can still do.
Yeah, we have players who know what they're doing can perform well with her, which I think goes back to what Fi was saying earlier about how he doesn't think there are any unplayable characters. I don't think she's unplayable. I just think she's the worst. If that makes sense.
Because Satsuki's defined by the fact that I believe Satsuki's like defining features are like her speed and her range combined together. Like this is a pretty fast projectile and it goes decently far, as opposed to say like Nana's charge B moves, which takes some time to get to you, but they cover more space.
Yes, or even like
issue is like the priority on it is not good. That's a 0.
Yeah, but this gets beat out by everything.
Mm-hmm.
So the actual like relevant moves of Satsuki are this JC, which is massively disjointed, which gets you,
which gets all your opponents tilted when they get hit by that.
Right, goes through a lot of things. The next one would be charge B because this sets up her unblockable here, because that's unblockable, and so then that's how she wins against an opponent from blocking for this way, which they don't need to, which is the problem. And JB hits at side angles, which a lot of zoners in this game actually don't deal with very well. Nanan, looking at Nanan, because if Nanan's trying to shoot her, this goes around Nanan's projectiles and hits her a lot of times.
It also can go around Ragyo's fireball really easily.
Yeah, it goes around. It oddly interacts with the zoners.
Yeah, it arches around most projectiles, which means that the low priority means it won't actually clash with anything, so we'll just get the hit.
I will also say one thing though that I do find also weak about her. Her Valor is insanely underwhelming. It doesn't really.
I feel like when she goes to Valor, she just feels like how she feels like more like a proper character.
But all she really gets is better damage.
Again, I think her Valor almost felt like how Nui's was pre-patch, where when Nui got Valor, she just felt like an actual character. When Single Blade Saucy gets Valor, she feels like an actual character.
Because her damage is actually
Now she's doing decent damage. Like that is actually how much damage you think you should be doing.
It feels underwhelming because all it actually changes relevantly is it buffs the enders, yeah. Because like her 8-ender here becomes a multi-hit.
Well, it doesn't just buff the enders; it does change.
I think there's also some. I think each attack also gets a bit more damage.
It gets a bit more damage, but it's so low that you really can't.
It just ends up being like total. You end up seeing her do like 25% more damage, something like that.
And you get some cool.
You get some cinematic sort of stuff too.
Yeah, the Valor. It would be really nice if this Valor got some more love. But yeah, that's what we're working with right now. Yeah.
Maybe
an idea would be to just
Crank
buff
that
her
damage.
base damage to a Valor damage, and then have a Valor damage be
because then
better.
her Valor would actually be meaningful, and even then her Valor to SBA is also nothing special.
And then it would justify more of the again, like she has less health but deals more damage, sort of thing.
It's like you're kind of like pushing her into more of that glass cannon archetype, sort of.
Yeah. Oops. That is an idea because we've changed damage values before. We've done it for the entirety of Kizuragi, so
I mean,
it's
honestly,
not outside of our realm.
that would be kind of cool if she was like a glass cannon Shoto, because it's like, you know, it's just because like she has somewhat good projectiles, but that's also just another weakness of hers, that a lot of her stuff just does not have good priority,
which is unfortunate.
So which means she'll lose clashes a lot, she'll clash a lot. Dual Satsuki has a similar problem, but she has more things to circumvent that.
Yeah, she has
dash cancels and everything.
She has a lot better options and better answers to a lot of situations than her single blade counterpart has.
Yeah, because I've always said this before, I honestly think she is just the definition of like mediocrity in this game. She is.
And in a game like Kill la Kill, being mediocre at anything is just not good.
I've spoken with Fee about this. Like, I even thought, even in the base game, the more I think about it, the more I just see her as a low tier, like just to put her down there in like the base game tier list. Even on Restitched.
I don't think low tier because I feel like she does well enough in the right matchups.
Yeah, she has.
Like I think
her
like
matchup chart is not.
It's not impressive, but it's also not oppressive. And I feel like there's just the right matchups that she can perform well in.
But it's like she doesn't oppress anyone.
But I feel like that's again. I'm not saying that she's stupid top tier. I'm just saying what I consider a low tier is a character who just really cannot do anything to most of the cast. It's a character who just almost exists just to be combo fodder. I don't think that is single blade Sasuke. I think she can hold her own, especially against some fairly important matchups.
Right.
But I just think, which is why I always thought that okay, she's at least decent, but she just was never anything more than that. But I think now that Restitched has come, and a lot of the characters that were below her have now gotten better, even though some of the top tiers have been brought down, that has not really changed her position at all.
I'm going to say, how many good matchups does she actually have numerically?
I think I have her at like 3 or 4, something like that.
3. I mean, like, were they anything more than +1?
I think there was like a singular +2 in there maybe.
Which is, I mean, because
again, not impressive, but I think something else was that she, like, it's like even like what. Again, this was
she still functions.
It was a long time ago that I made this, but I think I even put her like not having that many like super terrible matches. Like I again, do not quote me because I don't play Sasuke. I'm just what I think I remember hearing is that I think against like Gamagori's like shackle tackle or shoulder dash, she can actually deal with it relatively easily. I think her JC can actually just raw deal with that. So it's like there's certain matchups like Gamo, like she has specific answers for some of these higher tier matchups that don't make them terrible.
How that matchup usually goes, she just does this, and a lot of Gama's options are really cut down.
And it just clashes and or forces a loss immediately.
Right, and doing that, even if it clashes, costs Gama DC, so he now has to go and rebuild that back up, depending on where he is.
Yeah.
The only point of contention there is flying Gama will just get right over it, and now Satsuki has nothing to hit something that high up.
Yeah. Yeah, again, I think not a win on her end, but it's she does have a option to what he's doing, which sometimes is more than other characters have. She just unfortunately never really impresses, never can dominate. But at the same time, at least, very rarely is getting dominated and getting completely destroyed. She's just very plain in how her spread goes.
But she is still always kind of on the back foot, which is still not a good thing for her.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not ideal, but
I'm contemplating whether or not I do think she's the worst. I think she's the most I would do is bottom 2 or bottom 1, but
I say she's the definite worst character in the game.
Yeah.
As someone that does play her from time to time, I would say yes, as much as that hurts me to say it.
And as someone who, I will say, it feels good to no longer call Nui the definite worst in the game. It feels somewhat good after so many years of being like, yeah, Nui's bottom 1. The fact that she's not anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
All
yay.
right, put her on
All
the
right.
back tier.
Come on, you
You know
gotta
what?
do it.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Give her the Sasuke tier. That's what I say. Give her the Sasuke tier.
Yeah, put her in C tier.
Give her the C for Sasuke.
C for Satsuki.
it's just Satsuki with a C. Katsuki.
All right.
Because with my bold opinion, I don't think there's another character that's going down that low.
Yeah, I can't see anybody else being that bad.
I think at Restitched, I don't think there's another character that low. Okay, we'll probably save it for maybe after we do debating on this, but that's just my opinion of how.
Well, yeah, I mean, we'll shift stuff
Well,
around.
we'll mess with stuff later.
Yeah.
We gotta talk about more Gamagori next.
Oh, God.
This is-
Ooh, okay, you can lead this off fine.
Yeah.
I can talk
you
about
lead
this.
one.
You can.
Alright, let me get our big boy here.
Oh boy.
He is, in fact, the
I
big
think
boy.
I know where he's going.
And guess where this big boy's going? Straight to top tier. He didn't get touched with anything in this patch besides everyone else up in his house getting lower than him. Literally nothing about Gamo's changed except everyone else getting worse than him. Good, yeah.
Not wrong.
Yeah.
Gamagori is the same monster he was, but now a lot of the threats he used to have are no longer scary.
They're just gone.
Dual-wield Ryuko had removing her invincibility. Now all of a sudden is not just invincible in his face, and he can challenge. She still has her guard breaks he has to worry about, but now she's not nearly as oppressive to him.
Yeah.
Same thing goes for. Okay, I guess Unamuto was always a win, but now it's probably even more of a win because now when he hits you, you're not just dying immediately. Now Mako having a limit on her armor means does Gamagori have any moves that do 900?
Kugama?
Yeah.
900? Yes.
Yeah. So like now Gamagori. I guess it depends on how consistent you can get. Oh, that's actually fast. Yeah, now Gamagori has an answer to Mako back, which I think before. Actually, I don't think even before it was messing up Gamagori that much.
No, because he just did this.
Yeah, I think Gamagori still actually had some answers to bat, but now he has even more answers.
Yeah.
So I think honestly post patch the only matchup I'd say that Gamagori actually really struggles in is probably Nonon.
Yeah, I agree.
I think every other matchup he's going to be really dominating if you know what you're doing.
He's
with
just
him.
like kind of one of those like just ignorance is bliss character. He's not gonna care what you're doing. He's just gonna bash his way through whatever the hell you're
He is
doing.
going to be armored and he is going to hit very hard
Every
once he
button
gets
imaginable.
in. On top of the fact that there are some setups he has that are just completely unblockable. Showcase those setups.
I got you, fam. Hold on. I need to.
Because of how his guard breaks work, you block one thing, you literally
Not even that, I'm
can't do
just talking
anything.
just like
It's
8A.
no, because like even if you try to like think that he's gonna do it, and you try to
just
sidestep
That's a
it,
guaranteed hit. That is just a guaranteed hit.
You want to see what else is a guaranteed hit? Just that.
yeah, like you
Because
If you block that first hit, you just got hit.
You are
gapless.
in block sun, so there's a single character. There's two characters you can dodge that. One needs Valor, one can do it raw.
Yeah.
DTR is the only character in the game who could raw dodge that because he can armor that initial hit and then sidestep away. The other option is Sanagayama, specifically in Valor, because he can then Shingen step that first hit to the left or right to dodge.
which reveals.
But both of those show a very similar pattern of that they need to have an answer to that first hit, which no other character has. No other character has an answer to that first hit, so they all will just get hit. Combined with the fact that it is threshold armor, and it's a pretty scary threshold. I mean, do we
It's
know how
a
much it
lot.
is exactly?
I believe it is that. Isn't it definitely higher than 600? It's no, or is it like?
It changes with Valor.
I know
Valor
Valor.
gets
I know
ridiculous.
Valor 1 is stupid. I just don't know if we know Valor
believe
0.
this is probably like 600 right here. What we're
Yeah.
talking about that move?
Yeah, 600, which basically
600 or
DTR gun. So you would need to do damage that beats DTR gun while also
But
not
in-
getting hit by that startup.
But in way less time too.
And we gotta talk about. We can't just talk about that. We gotta talk about his Valor. He kind of just wins the game. Like if Rogama gets Valor 1, literally he doesn't have to worry about being proactive. He waits for you to hit a button, and then you just get hit. Even DTR, as high as he jumps, I've had Bones jump me with DTR and gun. I hit 5C. Oh, maybe
How many you have Gauge?
Yeah. If I have Gauge, which I should, and DTR jump guns, I hit this button, I go because he's so big, he drags DTR straight to the ground, and I get to do the combo. I'm pretty sure I showcased that in the tournament, right, Bones?
I think there's an instance where I avoided it, but I need to look at how exactly I avoided it in the air. There's a chance I might have just pulled out gun, then sidestepped to left or right.
Right. But it literally, anybody else, I just...
Like
Anytime
most
you
of the
press
characters, if you're close and that happens, dodging, you're really just not dodging it.
Right?
Combined with the fact that it has even more armor on it before means that you're also probably not going to break it unless you're doing specific stuff.
And there's also his other guard break speed. Do we need to mention Dash C, the one with armor on recovery?
Yeah, Dash C, this right here.
Very,
Has a lot
very,
of armor.
very fast. A very fast guard break.
It's frame
for what
11,
it
isn't
does.
it?
Really big. I should probably take this off Valor or else
Isn't it
people
frame
get really
11?
scared.
It is like it
It's
is
something
something
stupid.
absurd.
It's
It is
something like
something
when he has
absurd.
DC. It's something. It's less than 20 frames. I know that.
Yeah,
It's a very fast guard break. I think the only real balance to it is that I think he can combo off it, right?
You can.
No, he
No,
can't.
no, wait.
It hits behind him. It hits all around him. It hits behind.
Yes, you can.
Oh.
Yeah, you can get fully confirm off of it.
It hits behind him too. So even if like so you have a character who teleports like Raggio, you think, oh, look, he whiffed it. No, there's a hitbox behind him. Like it hits all around him. It's so hard for most characters to dodge that, especially at Power 1.
Yeah.
Especially with how fast they are, and a lot of his guard breaks are just unavoidable hits, which is like insane.
Oh.
Yo,
Yeah.
she
There is-
bolts a kick.
The only thing I could really say is a weakness for Gamagori is his combo game is really strict. You can't really deviate from it. You get creative. If you do something else, Gamma actually drops a lot of his combos.
Which also gives him very easy burst points for a
Yes.
lot of combos. So it's very easy to know when to burst. Once you learn how his combos work, it's very easy to burst out from Gamagori's combos just because you know he's going to
That
have
was
to
right
do a
there.
certain option.
The
So
thing is-
even on the ground, like the only mix-up he has is to instead hold Shackle and wait for you. Which at that point, if you're not bursting, it's going to cause a combo to drop.
I mean, he could also try to like fake you out with like charging B and then like baiting you out with something.
Yeah, but I'm saying by that point, but if he does that and you don't burst, then a combo drops.
True. I
Like
will
if
say,
you're doing
though-
it mid combo, like it would just drop.
I will
off for
say
sure.
though, I don't think Gamma being bursted is that bad since, well, if you're just throwing Gamma back into neutral, chances are he's just gonna get in on
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, and then I as a Gamma player, every time I get bursted, I just say, "Cool, I'm just gonna make you do that again."
And it's not hard for him to force mistakes from people.
It
It's
really
very
is, and I just
easy.
do this.
He can just get free hits from you. Like
Yeah.
even if you make 0 mistakes, great. You
If
block
you're
one
mis-
button.
if you started blocking and Gamma's somewhere around the area, you made a mistake.
Yeah, because then he can just get a free hit, which is he can get a free hit off of like non-committal
Also,
pulls.
this is hard to deal with.
Well, yeah.
6A and a C just running at them.
Also, a lot of his moves catch sidesteps. If you see like the TOC list, so many of his moves catch sidesteps.
That one move right there, dash C doesn't, but everything else, and 5C doesn't.
But there's also certain moves of his that can hit in the air, but
Right.
unfortunately most characters don't have that great options in the air, so it's just more a quick dodge and they have to try to hope they
And-
can punish it with something.
Most of the time, he's fine anyway because he has blind Gamma.
Well, no, most of the time, even if, for example, this move right here is ground only, I can't hit an airborne opponent with it, but it doesn't matter because I can hit B again,
And
then
that
hits
does
in
it.
the air. That heads in the air.
and that then.
And that landing hit also hits in the air.
And
yes.
he has armor because he's in shackle.
Right.
Also, that shackle quake hitbox is insane.
Right. Yeah. No. That.
Gamma has some of the most.
If you've
ridiculous
never fought a
hitboxes.
Gamo before and you're running into a Gamo who kind of knows how to play the character, you're about to have a very bad.
His
time.
hitboxes, I honestly think, are the most ridiculous in the game.
Also, Gamma and Valor 2, if Gamma ever gets actual Valor 2, you actually just lost the game. You're not coming back from that. This move does 4k damage, fully charges his DC incredibly fast, is an unblockable setup, and does a lot of damage.
Think about their health bar.
Bones' face just now.
Right.
You literally lost the game with this. Even I'm pretty sure I haven't never done it myself, but I'm pretty sure even base game duel with Ryuko can't deal with that because she'll dash B invul, but this move is so active that it just keeps going.
Yeah, she would actually just get hit. You remember because this is gapless too.
And it's an unblockable. Oh wait, hold on, I did too.
They get pushed out that far, so I think you need to have him hit the wall.
So
probably.
it is 100% gapless, so no
No,
character.
it does combo. It's just I messed that up a little.
Isn't
bit.
the only character? Wait, Uzu can't Shinken step supers, right?
Yeah, again.
I think
so-
he's but that guard crunches though.
Wait, can he Shinken?
Oh yeah,
step?
he can't chicken step that.
He cannot Shinken step guard crunches.
Wait, but it's only the last step though. Can he Shinken step any of the other hits? 'Cause-
But I feel like if he Shinken steps one, he might just get hit again.
Oh, actually, yeah, no, he might.
Okay.
Actually, he might actually just get hit again.
Yeah. But even if he, yeah.
Actually, yeah, no, Bones, yeah, you're right.
He would get
just
full
hit.
meter and then die.
And he just die immediately.
No, because also he would be counter hit.
Actually, wait. There's one
Would
dumb.
he be-
There's
would he be
one
counter hit too?
one dumb thing.
'Cause
Special
Shinken
C.
Uzus?
Uzu special C on that.
Oh no, that doesn't well.
Doesn't really?
Remember, it's only.
Gamma
guard
can
hit.
step cancel.
Well, but if he steps cancel, doesn't he still just get hit?
I mean, can't Uzu
Uh,
also just step
Yeah,
cancel?
What
Unless
happens?
he can do it from, unless he can do a guard break from that.
What? Yeah.
Can I do like yes? Can you like do special B and then while doing it just while he's in the middle of the entire animation? Well, that's still be like
It's so
if you just do
big.
it on the whip though.
It's so
Like,
big.
if you wait for the whip though, like if he's whipping, you're just stuck though.
Oh yeah, if he's whipping.
And if he's already,
Well, the whip is super fast. You're not reacting. I don't think you can react to that. That's how fast it is.
we have the entire animation, so you could probably just.
I mean, he doesn't have to do the entire animation though.
But no, by that animation of him going to.
Oh,
As I was
it's,
saying.
it's fast.
Yeah, it's fast, but I feel like potential. I have to test it, but I feel like.
I need to test
I feel like
it.
you potentially could, if you're holding block during the animation, stop holding block and just start mashing the super, and then just.
Yeah, possibly, but I still highly doubt. Also, you just do this and you win that interaction
Yeah.
because it's just like that. Yeah, we gotta put on Gamma's best character right now.
I would definitely say, and he's potentially. There's potentially one other character that could join him up there, but there's a good chance he might.
I consider him to be top one.
Top one.
Or top two.
I think he's top one.
I think he's top one.
I think
Yeah,
he
top
does
one.
well enough in enough matchups. Like I think even Nonon isn't a free win. Isn't a free win. Like it's a losing matchup, but I don't think Nonon's a free win.
Yeah.
Because if Gamagori gets close early, he's just going to
That
keep that
matchup
pressure.
is entirely a coin flip, actually. If Gamma gets in wrong start, she can't get him off of him.
ever.
Yeah, she can't get him off of her long enough for her to sidestep and hit a button because his whips will catch sidesteps.
That's how impressive he is. That
Yeah,
he
so
can catch
it's-
no-no's cracks.
so it is-
Side stuff.
So it is either Gamagori hits Nonon first, and then Nonon is not doing anything for the rest of the game,
Or Nanan hits him, sends him far away.
and then that's just it.
Can't
She
Gamma
just-
still get in?
No.
No, not really. No.
Not really.
I mean,
Anything he really does, she'll laser him for. How that matchup works is Nanan kind of just, holds him hostage. She just kind of sidestep jumps, and the moment he takes any movement towards you, you hit him for it.
And just Gamma, I feel like it's also just compared to No-No, Gamma's just so much more impressive.
yeah,
against so
in
many
other
characters.
matchups, he's so much more impressive. I think the only other match you might have to really worry about is going to be dual Rico still, because she does have fast guard breaks that can't
She
hit
has
still.
fast guard breaks, yes, but
So if she
also-
catches him at the right time,
Yeah.
I feel like she can still manage this out pretty well.
The thing about that is his sidestep is really good. You don't something you learn about playing Gamma. Not being in shackles is also really good. You gain meter blocking, and also being in shackle makes it very hard for you to dodge break attacks. Leaving shackle, you have one of the best sidesteps in the game. Honestly, probably in terms of dodging a break attack,
I might
probably
say it's the best.
Yeah, probably the best in the game.
Most iframes, at least.
Yeah.
Oh no, because I remember when the devs buffed it, they gave it so much iframes.
Yeah, it's
He can step so many break attacks that most
Incredible.
characters struggle to.
Mhm.
It's insane.
Yeah, no, he's definitely S tier there.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
really,
he's top
really
one.
great defensive and offensive options just put together to create a monster in this patch.
Nice. Who was the next character on the patch on the tier maker?
Next, we got
Ooh.
Sonic Yama because new shit, not even base
Guess
base
who's-
game has been found.
Guess who's honestly probably at the top of A tier for me?
Yeah. So let's go back to Uzu real quick. As y'all all may or may not have saw, Uzu's another one of my boys. I played all of the Elite Four, And Uzu is definitely up there with me. He is go, the character. Green means go. He's going. And then you just gotta boop. Yeah, no. Uzu, all literally, like, how do I say this? He owns neutral. You're never gonna beat Uzu neutral.
Uzu is the only other character I would argue in this game with a neutral as good as his is Hoka. It is him and Hoka who both own the neutral. They are going to be playing how they play, and you will need to respect that.
Mm-hmm.
Every character will need to respect how they play those two neutrals generally. There are a few exceptions, but typically speaking, it is Uzu with his neutral where you're going to have to respect how his guard breaks are, and you are either going to be sidestepping his guard breaks or using guard breaks of your own to answer his. But if you're not doing either one of those, you're in a really tough spot where you're going to have to be on the defensive wall, waiting for him to commit to something he does not have to commit to.
Right, like, and also some of his really bad matchups just got
a bit easier.
Just got a bit like Mako getting worse really helps out Uzu because this move right here, like, maybe does 900.
That would be enough. That would be enough to break. I think Dual Ryuko might probably be evenish now because I don't think dash speed was the only thing dash speed was a huge thing for why he was struggling because she would just be able to say no. She'd be able to just stand there and block and just say no and just dash B, force him to do the guard break and still hit him. Now I don't think she can do that anymore, but she still does again fast guard breaks, so she could answer those JC cancels if you're not smart with them.
Right.
So she's not completely like out of it, like, oh, I can't do anything. But I think the matchup a bit easier now. I think probably the only matchup in the game that has gotten harder for him is probably Nui and Single Blade Ryuko. I think Single Blade Ryuko got a lot worse for him, just because her options are now way better. And then Nui just because now she's pretty much playing how she was before, but now she's going to be off cooldown a lot more, using her meter against him a lot more.
Right, Nui was very scary for Uzu for at certain times. Mostly the fact that if Uzu actually did just get hit, he just died.
He would just like Nui, and now Nui gives less meter.
Yes.
Now Nui's also giving less meter, so now he's gonna. If Nui's getting a hit, and he doesn't already have meter preloaded. He's just going to be taking a lot of damage that he's not going to be able to answer. That's pretty much where the strength of having one of the best meter gains versus one of the worst meter gains.
It's just how it is.
But it's still the fact that he's not hopeless in the matchup still. Like, he's still going to be forcing Nui to play his game, and if she messes up in playing that game. And we haven't even talked about something that I discovered only recently, which I'll leave it to you to discuss because it was your discovery.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I was doing some live with Uzu when I found that this Shingen step right here is probably one of the most cracked defensive powers in the game. Oops, not like that.
You're not in Valor, are you?
I am a crackhead, don't worry about me.
Well, I don't think you can see it, can you?
You can
see the very edge of the star.
Yeah, the very
I
edge.
can see that star. That right here. There. Shingen step. We knew that Shingen step gave a bar of meter. If y'all could not see that, let me just drop him down.
Give him 25, yeah.
Yeah, give him 25.
Okay, he was still going down, that's why.
Like that. Helps out Uzu so much. Uzu's biggest weakness before was he couldn't open up people as easily as other characters. And so he had a hard time just doing this sometimes. Like, this would win you games unless you were going up against a patient opponent with a character with a decent sidestep, right? So, when you deal with that situation, your only other option was SPC. Because this is a true 50-50. Because it is one of two secrets in the game where you can sidestep cancel out of. Like this. So whatever happened, if they ran away, you could just chase them down. And then play Uzu for that. Otherwise, you go back to doing this. And you kill them. But yeah. His important moves, Alpha, besides his Shingen step being it gives you a bar meter, doubles your damage for the next second and a half, which is why you see me doing 3k off of this SBB. And also very importantly, removes your meter cooldown, so you can just get back to using supers more. This means you can start doing your unblockable setups if they would stop mashing at me.
Stop getting mixed by the
Alright,
bot.
what about the Fear Strike stuff?
Oh yeah, Fear Strike. We found out that if you Shingen Step, you get to use your Fear Strike off of Whiff, which is important because this move is probably
It
one
is
of the
armored
best.
and leads into his pretty much the B&B he wants.
Yeah, both Schengen Step and Just Edge.
Yeah, so this can be done battleless too. That's the thing.
Yes.
Yep.
Although the charge drops if you do another defensive action on the ground. If you do an air dash or an air sidestep, it won't lose a charge. But if you do a ground one, it will drop. You'll lose it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's indefinite, yeah?
Yes.
You can hold it forever.
Yeah, so that's very strong because you just get that, and then now you have pretty much a shotgun preloaded and just ready to bring out at any time.
Like that.
And just
blow up
armor,
neutral.
just blow through whatever your opponent is doing and just get the hits you want.
Right.
It is very interesting the way the move works because it has resetting armor values.
Yeah. And another important, so we also haven't talked about the two best moves on Uzu, besides Shingen Step being incredibly godlike. Dash B right here, lets you just ignore neutral. If they're doing anything, if this
You want to do it right?
Yeah,
No.
come on, fee skill issue.
lets you ignore zoning, they just can't zone you.
Yeah, so if that hits a projectile, in case anyone doesn't fucking know, but if that hits a projectile, he's allowed to fully teleport and do a full screen teleport guard break to the opponent.
Right.
This isn't unanswerable. A lot of characters, especially zoners, have found ways to throw a projectile and then bait Uzu into coming near him and then punching it. So this isn't like a spam to win thing, but it's like an option he does have that every zoner needs to respect. So most times zoners against him aren't doing what they want to do to other characters just because if they do that, they're leaving themselves open to just get brought in like that.
I will say about Dash BC, it's not actually just projectiles. He can actually hit anything, and it will let him do the follow-ups.
So long as it connects, this Dash B right here is actually armored.
No, as long as
No,
there's that
it's just-
armor
it's
interacts
just-
with anything, he can hit a melee.
It's just disjointed.
Yeah, no, it's got the green
It's-
spark at least, it looks like it.
No, I'm pretty sure it's just disjointed and just beating out that.
Wow, that's...
No, but even when he hits a move with high priority, like let's say he hits Ragyo 8A, which has a priority of 5, which is higher than that move, he'll just, the second the armor interacts with it, it just lets him do any follow-up.
I'm pretty sure it's not armor. I'm pretty sure what's happened is that move is so disjointed that it
It's armor.
just eats through.
At the end of the day, it doesn't even matter.
It
Well, no, it
it
does
doesn't-
actually have armor. It has armor. The move actually does have armor. Yes, Dash B has armor.
Are you sure?
On startup, yes.
Alright, well, whatever. It just doesn't matter. Because Dash VC lets you just ignore zoning, but this move right here, Uzu
Lets you
JC,
ignore neutral.
this move literally won me the EVO. If you guys couldn't
Watch the
tell,
VOD. Watch the VOD.
if you
Watch
guys
my
couldn't
suffering.
tell, this move just kind of won me the
It
whole
is
tournament.
cancelable till very late. It is full hit stun armor.
Wait, never mind. I was confusing it with another move. Yeah, it doesn't actually
Right.
have armor. I was confusing it with another move.
Yeah, I'm saying I'm pretty sure it's just this disjoint that made it so strong, but
Yeah.
but JC, it has armor, it is cancelable, it is the move that you use so often and not a lot of characters can reliably deal with. Most characters dealing with that move, they have to sit there in block, try and wait for you to commit to it and then sidestep. But I think few exceptions are characters who have fast guard breaks or characters who call out a cancel. So for example, if they think, oh, you're not gonna do it, you're just gonna cancel it, they might just 5A or anti-air you, or maybe start up their own slower guard break, just anticipating you like stopping doing yours. But still, it is a very strong tool of his. It's been strong for 3 years. It's gonna be strong for 3 more years. If you do not like Uzu, you do not like that move, I am so sorry, but it is probably not going anywhere. You're just going to have to hold that.
Eternal agony, eternal suffering, pain, and torture for the rest of
This
my
move,
life.
Uzu just On pressure, Uzu's not as scary as you might think he is, but also it doesn't matter. He just do this until you do something.
Yeah, until you commit, or even if you do something dumb, he's just gonna do that. And if he gets a counter hit, he's allowed to extend it to an even longer BNB, which is also armored. Which Athena here kept trying to burst it and was confused on why it wasn't working, not realizing that he was trying to burst a Fear Strike, which is not possible.
Because I kept trying to burst the homing dash before it.
But he was already doing Fear Strike.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, my burst was. I didn't account for the startup. Because by the time my burst would come out, he was already doing Fear Strike.
Yeah, so Uzu, very
It's such a
strong.
short window.
I do not think as strong as Gamagori, but still an incredibly strong and impressive character, especially since kind of similar to Gamagori treatment, where Uzu didn't necessarily get very better, but some more stuff was found about him, but specifically his bad matchups got better because those characters got worse.
I mean, there
is one. There is one that got worse for him.
Mako.
Not Mako.
SBR?
SBR.
SBR is really the only case, but I feel like SBR already was really dominant in that matchup. So I feel like not a lot changes there, but compared to a lot of the other matchups that he struggled against, I think even Inamuta might be not like easy, but a lot easier than before. Because now Inamuta's not constantly stealing his meter. He's allowed to get meter now.
Yeah. Uzu did not have a lot of meter. Uzu's meter game was equal.
Yeah, like Uzu used to hate Inamuta because Inamuta would just deny his neutral, and then when he got a hit in, just take all of his meter. But now that that's not happening anymore, I think it still comes down to the fact that he's still gonna be losing to stuff like TOC.
I mean, well, that's the thing.
I think TOC is still gonna really screw over Uzu.
Well, I mean, because I know before though that when Uzu that we only thought JA would hit, but no, it doesn't. Fear Strike hits TOC.
Fear Strike hits, but you can't get Fear Strike unless you parry something.
Yeah, unless he does that.
So in reality, it's like two matchups that you could argue he really struggles against. Maybe like 2 or 3 that are about even, and then everything else he can be really dominating and really scary in.
Yeah, no, he doesn't have to deal with neutral.
He's a very like, I don't think a dominating matchup chart, but he does really well in a lot of matchups.
Yeah, I agree.
What was that?
Sounded like someone either opened the door next to us or is trying to open that door.
Okay.
Lizzie has his key. I mean, I can check to see if he's sent a message at all about coming
I
home.
mean, he has a key.
You know who's next?
Yes, we get to talk about our boy.
Yep.
Yo, Slender.
one of the characters that many people had a problem with.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Hoka Inamuda. Did you know that you have meter?
Did you know?
Did you know that you have? Did you know that you have iframes? TOC says you do, and so do I.
Now we're gonna talk about the next member of my Elite Four posse here.
Character who probably got the most changes in the patch.
Hoka
She got the biggest nerfs out of everyone.
Hoka got
hard.
Yeah, really hard.
No, Hoka probably took the most nerfs out of anybody.
Yeah,
he's the character that is completely different in how you're gonna have to approach him in this patch because of a couple of very, very big nerfs he took. Most notably, which you're about to showcase, is his special B, which no longer steals meter. In this, actually, he doesn't steal meter in any of his moves anymore.
He does.
Even some moves.
SBC.
Well, I'm not counting that. I'm kind of more like the moves that he oppresses with.
Right.
Like, moves that he's doing in a combo. He's not stealing meter from that anymore.
Yeah. Outside of Valor.
Which is a pretty big deal because when you see he's not stealing meter, you see he actually gives a lot of meter. Which means that now his combos are going to be a lot more burstable. He's no longer has any real hope of TODing any character. He's just really not going to be able to do that. Combined with what else changes did he make?
The JA cubes are no longer there.
Yeah, the JA and the cubes are gone.
Oh yeah, which was really huge in helping him keep pressure even after ending a combo, since he could just have those thrown out automatically for him, and then use them to try and win neutral again.
Right.
They
were really strong before.
It was a really almost overlooked but really strong aspect of the character. That being said, even with all these nerfs, there are still strengths to the character. Cubes are still very impressive and very strong, especially when used right. They are still probably the best projectiles in the game, uncontested. they track like you want them to. Because of how they mark an opponent before they hit, it means that you have enough time to try and set up something to come with them to have them do a lot of damage. They even have really good priorities, so you're really not beating them out at all. They still do what you want. He still also has the pretty much roughly the nice going. But they
Nice
still,
going,
he still has roughly the same combos, though we did also take away. First, we made it so that his 5C adds the combo limit like it should instead of resetting it. And not only that, but we also changed some other moves for how their combos worked, which makes it so that he can't loop like he used to, and eventually the combo will end if he tries to do it the same way.
Well, that did get changed.
Oh, you
with
changed
the,
that?
Yeah, because before that was the first iteration. Because the way the 5C works is in order for it to not drop, like when he does it, is it sets the combo limit back to 1 and then adds it to 150. Problem is, the cancel, you can cancel in a special B, which is what the problem was. Yeah.
So did that get changed at all, or just
No, that got the only thing was it adds meter instead of taking away with special B.
So people could just burst.
Yeah, and then something else too was he can no longer do Control Alt Delete.
Yes.
Which pretty much at that
It was somewhat.
if he had 2 bars of meter, and he hit you with any of his guard breaks, he used to be able to hit the guard break, cancel to a special C, and put you in a certain stun animation, which you cannot do anything in, and then proceed to do his charge B, which guard crunched, and loop those together forever
It
for
would kill you.
an infinite combo.
Any map.
Any
for
character, any map. It was part of the reason why for so long Hoka only had a single bad matchup in Gamagori. And even then, the Gamagori matchup, which is a case of you just try and get this thing on him, and then you just kill him.
Yeah.
It was an a really disgusting option that has been taken out since now his charge B as prorate. Yeah.
No. What it was is the.
Or did you just remove the cancel entirely?
Yes, because it's
You can't stun lock anymore.
Yeah, you can stun lock, but good Hokas still will be able to use the move as kind of a reset. Like, because his 6A is already phenomenally fast.
You just can't get a full charge B out.
Yeah,
best-
6A is the
fastest
only
6A in
move.
the game.
You can
It is the
only
fastest.
combo with it with 6A. If the enemy is blocking, they will not be able to connect. But if they hit 6A, that's the only move.
Yeah. So if you were good at Hoka or you enjoyed playing Hoka, you can at least have solace in the fact that a lot of his neutral is still pretty much the same. He still has really good he still has a really fast 6A. His 8A is still really strong in the right situations. He's still really fast. His cubes are so good. All that was really taken away was his ability to combo and just completely delete health bars. He really can't do that anymore. So he's more just. So you're going to be finding that characters are bursting him a lot more often because they're going to be having the meter. And you're going to find yourself probably taking a lot longer to secure a kill. But if you are good enough at actually playing him, you might not see it as that big if you're good at winning neutral over and over with him, which you're going to have to do.
Yeah, Hoka still has his speed, which is probably one of his most important traits. That 6A really matters. It is so fast.
Yeah, it is like borderline, like not reactable.
This move right here, you're not. No, it
is
is.
just not
You're not
reactable.
reacting to this. Round 2 start, you have to take a 50-50 of block,
jump or
you have
block.
to jump that or sidestep that. It is a really stressful situation to put a lot of characters into unless they have some ignorant like options to.
DTR.
Yeah.
Yeah, so placement wise,
I mean,
now this could be a take. I probably think top B.
About DTR.
Top B.
Top of B.
Yeah, I was actually thinking the exact same thing.
So I fought
His
I
matchups,
think-
though, his
I
matchup-
think-
wait, can we talk about
Because
his
I
matchup
think
spread?
there's
How much it's changed?
his matchup spread.
It's kind of insane.
because I think something really huge that like I think is over the fact that he's going to be getting bursts so much, so he's actually going to find it so hard to kill, which I think is going to get him hurt more often than not. because now characters are going to have the meter to not only escape his combos, but also do certain supers, which you didn't have to worry about before.
And also,
They're also going to have even more chances to actually hit him. And when they do, now all of a sudden his lower health is going to matter a lot more. Because now he's forced to play neutral more. More characters have opportunities to actually hit him out of. Which, a lot of characters actually do have ways to beat him in neutral. You just didn't know that before because most of the times he only played neutral like 3 or 4 times a match.
There is a
That is-
very funny clip.
But that is not the case anymore, where now he's playing neutral more often and is going to lose neutral more often. And a lot of characters, when they do that, have ways to keep momentum in their favor. So just make it so that he just can't do anything.
it's
Right.
also like his damage is also really low. So since he can't just infinite you,
Yeah, it's like low damage.
it's like
and high
Satsuki in a
meter.
way. Like he's gonna get sent back in the neutral a lot, but I also think his matchup spread changed kind of a lot.
Yeah, like
especially
they're-
against Rockio.
Like their character, like Ragio, DTR even. Like DTR is now, I would say, a pretty rough matchup because now he needs to get into TOC to even contest DTR, and DTR is going to hit him once, and now Hoka is not going to be able to burst since now DTR is stealing his meter.
Oh yeah.
the tables have turned, that boy.
The
Yeah.
tables have turned, and
Yeah.
I think he's still definitely very workable. You can still definitely work with what you have. You probably can find success. I just don't think you can find it as easily as some of the other characters are going up into A tier. And I think these nerfs really did hit him.
And like
Yeah.
cube spam is kind of like the only thing he can do in certain matchups. It's like, and if he can't do that, well then he's just dead.
Yeah, he's gotta play the zoner game, but he can't entirely do that.
And he's not bulletproof when he's doing that. Like certain
Yeah,
characters,
you can snipe.
still hit
Certain
him.
characters can still snipe him. Uzu SDB can.
Yeah,
Rock
If-
USBA can hit him.
If you were good at fighting in Inimuta before, you're gonna find this matchup a lot easier because you're gonna be finding yourself getting way more reward than you used to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Hoka's reward got cut down a lot.
It got cut down a lot, which also means that your options after that are going to be spiked up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Alright.
yeah, I'm okay with that.
It's your girl.
All right, it's time for the last member of the Elite
The
Four.
last member of the DK crew.
Where did the game go, Iron?
It crashed.
Nice.
That is great, yo! Game crash.
It's great.
Yeah, but you,
Typical.
hit that play button for me
Fucking
real quick.
typical.
So while we're waiting for this to load, I'm gonna say right now I think Nana's probably second best character in the game.
I was immediately gonna agree top.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah,
easily top.
she was already really dominant before. Kind of sleeper dominant for a while because there wasn't that many Nana players before, aside from Gojo. But
Not safe.
yeah, I know it's safe. Well, Gojo
He
was
was,
the one right
he was a lot,
before.
he was a lot older.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
was
I'd say
way
he was
older. Old
There's
man.
like only like what, 2 of them really. I mean, there's Llama, but you know,
Yeah.
no pioneers really.
Yeah, so Nana did take a nerf to the fact that her Todd combo no longer is unburstable. You can get out of it before the final kill shot. Oh, wait, am I not?
Hold on.
It's at the keyboard. Iron, you bastard.
Fuck.
It wouldn't be a kill video without technical difficulties.
Yes, true.
Slowly did.
Now
Yeah,
no
you-
one gets to play the game.
Now-
You gotta back out.
If
then
I can't
you-
play the game, no
You
one
take
can.
you start pushing buttons.
I'm hitting buttons, don't you worry,
Yeah,
that's
hold
what
on.
I'm good
You can't
at.
skip these.
Come on, B. That's what you're good at. Mash buttons.
Now.
We're hitting buttons. This game is godlike.
Yo,
So anyways,
this game is
keep
nice.
monologuing about Nana while you
you
do
know,
this.
monologuing. Nana was really dominant before. She had one of the best neutrals in the game. Among the top 3, honestly. What?
Push buttons. You should be able to. No? Okay.
Nope.
I'll default.
Alt F4.
So you said some like best sidestep, like one of the best.
She has one of the best side steps in the game.
I'd
It
argue
moves her really-
second or third best.
It moves her very, very far, which is one of her saving graces for a lot of things. Because it's not the fact that she has a lot of info on that side step, it's the fact that as a zoner, it moves her away from danger really well. And once she's away from that danger, her moves are enhanced to punish that whatever attempt was just tried on her. It makes her really, really strong. Her damage, honestly, probably the best in the game. Only tied maybe with Dual Satsuki, would you say?
Around that.
Yeah,
they both delete your health
They
bar.
both delete your health bar.
Dual Tatsuki just does it faster.
Well, at this point, Dual Satsuki can't be bursted, so maybe hers is considered higher in that regard. Non hit for hit will kill you faster though.
Because the Dual Tatsuki's mainly just charge bait.
Your dual Susky gets it for mostly one
One attack that does a lot,
You
though.
should be able to.
I can't.
Is this controller not posted properly?
Iron's holding it.
Yep.
Nope.
Skill issue.
Let's go. Kill, let's go.
No, but still,
Yeah,
what
she
you
has
saying?
very easy unblockable setups to make it.
Hey.
Yo, it's love and
We're talking about
Roll
non.
back, roll
Let's
back,
go.
roll back.
No
roll
one
back.
cares.
No one cares.
That's
Have
all
my
we
way.
wanted.
The famous
I want
Lucy
this
is-
game
It's
to
gonna
be
make the
gone,
game
boys.
worse.
Just don't
Wow,
have
wow,
it.
kicked Nitro's fucking ass. Oh my god.
Yo, about to sauce people. We're
Nitro
streaming, by
up
the
2-0
way.
lead.
We're live.
We are doing a Restitched tier list.
We're recording. We're doing the tier list right now.
Yo, show Lucy the tier list.
We've been
This
talking
is
about
how
it
it
for
is.
like
This is how it's been so
we've been
far.
talking about it for like an hour and a half. Something like that.
Yeah, so this is what we have so far.
So far. We're kind of going
Careful
off
with
here.
that cable behind you.
Watch
Like, on
out. That's the mic.
Yeah, careful.
Also, make sure the words are facing up in case you touch it.
Yeah. So right now we have Gamagori as currently the best character in the game. I think he's the best character in the game, straight up.
I can see that. I can see that.
We have
He's the one.
Satsuki is the worst.
He is the last fucked up top tier that never got changed. No, I'd still put Mako in top tier. That is still fucked
Well,
up.
I think we just think like
We had all discussion about
we
it.
had a discussion about bat. Like, there's actually a lot of moves that can break bat armor now.
At the very least, I think she's in front of Sanagama.
Really?
We
After
I
showing.
think Lucy's better.
After Fear Strike,
Yeah, that fear stick shit. Especially that power one. Susu with that buff meter game.
Yeah, I mean, more things tank back, but still how easy it is for her to get.
Oh no, it's not that more stuff takes bats. That's just there's just a lot of stuff that just beats bad now.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Does single bay Ryuko JC do it? 900 damage?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, so yeah.
And even then, I'm talking about there's plenty of moves.
Well, I mean, some matchups didn't change for Mako. I mean, look, Ragyu can't break back for crap. I mean, some characters can.
Hey, you have a raw 5C. Don't worry about it.
But that's 2 seconds of startup.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
No.
'cause some moves don't do the damage fast enough to beat that.
Right. And right now we're on Non, and I say she's second best character in the game.
Actually, that might.
Right
I
after
agree.
Gamagori. I think since she got a nerf and Gama didn't, that did a little something. But
but at
in
the same
general,
time, it didn't nerf what she's really good. All it nerfed was one TOD, which wasn't what she was that's not what also made her strong. She wasn't strong because of that TOD.
she was strong because her neutral was
She had a TOD because she was strong. She wasn't strong because of the TOD.
Like the controller.
I don't know,
She just
man.
works for me. Like, I don't understand.
Cause Iron, you're magic.
I am magic. I got the magic hands.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
So-
the technology is
Oh,
no! We've done it.
What happened?
I hit a button too far. Now I'm in the tutorial.
I've done that.
Return back to menu.
Yeah, so Nanon has just really strong zoning, really strong neutrals, just able to pretty much get one hit on most characters, just really deny them from ever getting close again.
Right, her zoning actually can send people full screen, and then she can win from the other side of the stage, no problem.
Yeah.
It's,
She's got such. I would argue she has the best zoning in the game, flat out.
pure zoning, yeah, I think her zoning's better than
Just
anybody.
Pure Toho character. Fill up the screen with just fill the
She
screen
just
up with
moved the
garbage.
mouse to.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
This right here, very good, sends you full screen. And then we have the good old unblockable setups. And then we have our good old coup de grace. We got big ball.
X-Go.
This is I'm going esports. I'm winning the game now. And her damage at zoning does about 4k. So after about 4 interactions, I win of you not being able to interact with me.
feels
The
crazy.
esports.
Don't
The
forget.
esports
Yeah.
ball.
Don't forget sidestep 8A.
Yeah. So sidestep AA, actually her best move. That move carries Nana to the finish line.
And
Remember-
need to.
It makes her unpunchable.
That sidestep is cracked as hell.
Yeah, like
Think
that
of Raggy
that
outside.
8A pretty much almost entirely negates the weakness of having the sidestep, since being an 8A, it involves through dashes, so no one can dash in on that. It hits multiple times, so characters really can't even armor it.
And
Because of how it hits, it does so much damage, and she's allowed to get her follow-ups into her zoning how she wants to from it.
Yeah.
and the lunge follow up after the 8A.
It's
I
also
mean,
that
this
neat.
move,
That
this move
pisses
right
me
here.
I hate it so much.
Don't worry about
I
it. It pisses
fucking hate
everyone
it.
off.
I hate
This knee
everything.
right here, and I can use it at any point during my zoning. Completely is invincible. Shuts down any rush down attempts.
Yeah, so even if you're a character who gets somehow hit past the 8A, she just has an invincible follow-up from it that you also have to respect and learn how to deal with.
Right. And
Which means that as a zoner, she's really strong at keep while you're away, but also has really good options for when you're close to her to get you away again. And I think that is the aspect of Nana that makes her incredibly strong, is the fact that unlike the other zoners where once you get in they kind of struggle to get you out again, Nanon really does not struggle, because once you're in, she's still arguably just as strong as any other character.
And she really only has one bad matchup.
Yeah, she has exactly one matchup that the character that can beat her.
And that's just Ragyo.
And it's
That's
just
literally
Ragyo
just
because of
Ragyo.
her anti-zoning. Honestly, Ragyo's one move getting oopsie nerfed away from being completely in Nanon's favor. If Ragyo's BA didn't do what it did, Nana would stomp that
Oh
character.
no, no one would smoke
If
her.
that move was
BA is literally the entire.
No, if that move
entire
was
matchup.
slightly slower,
Oh no, like,
that this win could hit
Would-
first, Nana would beat
no, because you
Ragyo.
realize like no, when I do BA and you do that at the same time, literally the frame before the laser gets a hitbox, the BA hits you. It happens so often. It's hilarious. Like
Yeah.
no,
The
actually can't do anything about
The
that.
only weakness you could say for Nanon is most of her metered options aren't that good. So what you'll see Nanons do is just hold 4 bars of meter and just burst every attack that someone comes in.
Unless they're you, in which case
It's
they'll
a-
power.
Yeah, it's also a kind of point that it doesn't matter as much when if your non-meter options are that good. It's like the same case where Uzu isn't using his meter too much because his non-meter options are so good he does not need them.
Also, having wall splat hits done long enough to homing dash from full screen and still go into Valor,
But yeah,
that's something.
Even with her, she's the slowest
Yeah,
Omega in the game.
Yeah, she's
her Valor, she has very good.
those full screen guard breaks that can be tough to avoid, but are also almost completely lagless. So actually punching it's super difficult.
Because a lot of no-nos, any slowness in her moves is kind of just front-loaded into the startup. She
Yeah,
has
it's
borderline
front-loaded in
overcover
startup
against a lot of
or
her
in
moves.
like or
It's front-loaded
in
in
her
startup.
guard breaks and how she's dedicated to that action for a while.
Yeah, she has like borderline no
But like
recovery.
once that is gone or once she has distance, that it does not matter. It
Also,
does
we
not
gotta
matter.
talk about reverbs.
Yeah, no, bro, T-Command, come on.
Reverbs are something else. This move right here. Oh no, you got past my 8A. Oh no, you got past my 8A and my invincible move. Get past this, asshole. That move is so
It's
stupid.
just layers upon layers of zoning.
It's layers upon layers of protecting your zoning. So if someone gets in on you, like there's a very fun little setup I do here, where I come at you from like all 3 sides, and it catches basically any attempt to come at me.
Audio Technica is facing up on that mic, right?
Yes.
Yes. Is that what it says?
Yeah. Is it right there?
Yep, we're good.
Never
Can you hear me?
Okay, just make sure. Is there a way we can like angle that up?
How many people are tuned in right now?
This is a video. We couldn't stream it.
Just record it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Internet is
Yeah,
kinda
because I want
cheap.
to try to get it so it picks up more. That's picking up me better too, so it should pick up you better.
Yeah.
You okay?
Mhm.
You're.
Not only is the fact that this stuff right here is essentially you gotta just respect it. Her unblockable setups can even catch Lucci off guard because this is fast.
It is
Before you can confirm.
it's a very fast thing to have to try and react to, and odds are you're not going to be reacting to it.
Mhm.
Like not as a character, you're reacting to her projectiles, and her projectiles are just really strong and really difficult to react to at times.
Also,
Like you have to have your parents have to be a character with a fast homing dash. You have to be really good and acute about timing and canceling your homing dashes. Because you can't commit to one for too long. Because if you do, you're just gonna get hit out of it.
Also, Nanon's meter gain is probably the best in the game.
Oh,
I'd
she
probably
has a
say.
meter request. She can just remove
She
it.
can for one. Hold on, let me
Just
get
lets
some.
her burst
Let's
so
get
much
some
more
meter
defense.
first. She can get meter off of not having to actually interact with the opponent. I actually don't need to hit anybody to get this meter.
Yeah, because for every time a reverb is canceled out with a new one, she gains meter for it, as if she had absorbed it.
Right, and on top of that, when she does her laser, it absorbs the reverbs into meter.
Yes.
And on top of that, if I spend the meter, so let's say I burst. Oh, I didn't know that. There we go. I can absorb these and just remove the meter loss, the meter cooldown. She is really, really strong. Really hard to get in on. When she gets you a full screen, she's probably going to win the game. Just by nature of how she
Yeah,
works.
once a lot of
Runway,
characters get hit.
Like stadium grounds, just.
Oh yeah, if you're on runway, you're dead.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah,
characters
no
that
bad
when they
maps,
get
no
hit
bad
once. they
Yeah,
just-
that's another big important part about Rana. There's no map you can take to beat her on. She's
Even
good
on
on
town,
any
she's
of
still
them.
good.
Yeah,
Even
well-
on town, that just means I taught you.
There's
easy.
a lot of
Oh,
characters
stage
that when they get
playable
hit
in
once,
this
they are
game?
just
Oh, yeah.
not
The stages
stable.
have different shapes and sizes in this game.
Which very much matters.
It'll impact how like if your character wants to get in.
Mhm.
What does the counterpicking system look like for Kill la Kill? How do you decide maps? In this
First round is a neutral map. We have 2 of those.
Mhm.
Second
so you have
round.
starters and then counterpicks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loser gets to pick the next map,
Winner bans a map.
but the winner gets
Yeah.
the ban one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Single ban.
Mhm.
Single ban and then counterpick.
Because there's not enough stages though.
Can you go
There's
back
only
to-
6 stages, right?
Can you go back to a stage?
yeah.
If like a player like
Bowling,
Yeah, if someone decides to ban a different stage.
Because one thing people
yeah,
do
run
play
like, yeah,
just
there's
in
six.
the like the
There's six.
standard maps.
Mhm.
Just sometimes they just
okay, yeah, they're just
completely
like-
do that.
Because they're both very neutral maps. Like that's why we did EVO with those maps. Like it's kind of fine because
Yeah.
they're just
Yeah,
neutral
right
maps.
below Gamma and S tier.
Let's go.
Oh boy.
We got Ragyo. This
Oh,
is
boy.
Diva's forte.
Yep, because again, the only one who's not in like the lower half is Inamuta.
I do think, okay, if I'm gonna start with Ragyo, I think she's bottom of B. I'm gonna get the tier placement out of the way.
Shocker.
I mean, look, I'm not putting her in C. I think she's better than that. But the only reason I think the similar way to scale her is basically similar to Mako
You
because
knew that at the training
Ragyo's kind of a
Yep.
snowball character where it's like she's bad until she isn't, assuming she reaches one of her 2 win conditions, which is either getting JC out or getting Valor, which. Yes, JC is very oppressive to a lot of characters, but it's kind of based, like, a lot of her matchups are just based around how good is this character at denying JC and how good are they at dealing with it once it's out. Which, Ragyo is oppressive to, like, 3 characters at this point, but at the same time, her matchup spread has improved, especially with Inamuta. She can go, like, borderline even with Inamuta now, can't she, Fee?
Yes and no.
I'd say like
If
minus
you
1 at best.
If you space it space Hoka perfectly, and you have some godlike reactions,
You
you
can
can
just fit 'em.
block this, and then immediately try to 6A. But you have to be so on point for that.
Yeah.
And Ragyo doesn't
I
really
think
have to
honestly,
worry about much, though.
even Duo Ryuko is probably pretty favorable now too. I don't think favorable, at least like a lot.
Well, no, it's a lot better, but do it Rico still. She really only has 2 moves that Ragyo has to worry about. That's JC because it's 2 hits, her sidestep's too slow to avoid it, and the 5 BAC, you know, that full screen kick. Ragyo can't actually do anything about that kick, unless she supers. She can't actually do anything. Her sidestep's too slow to avoid it. She can't do any move to beat it out. Her guard breaks are too slow, but I still think she has the problem where a lot of her matchups are just. Oh, they can just play lame and never let her really get anything and just block the whole game, and she can't still not really do much. But at least, like, ever since in the patch with the buff, she got like her combos and everything. At least when she gets a hit on you, she's not going to be doing like 2 damage like she could in base game because combo load would just kick in. Oh look, she couldn't get anything. But at least now she can still get a lot of damage now, and it's all consistent now because her special C is now just a static pattern. It's no longer RNG. So you won't get her stuff's no longer inconsistent. Also, so I do still think she's way better for like when she gets a hit in on someone. She's a lot better in the base game. Also, I saw that in the special A.
Don't worry about it.
We don't talk about that. Everything's fine. But I do think overall she's been better. I just still think she still has a lot of the same glaring weaknesses, mainly that she has no real way to open people up, assuming she can't JC first or has Valor. Which I will say, if Ragyo gets Valor, I think she's honestly one of the most broken characters if she gets Valor, because she can just let herself get hit, zone you as much as you want, and then just, the second she gets hit, just counter burst. She taunts you from burst fibers. What are you gonna do? Because most characters can't really deal with her Valor that well, except for Uzu, really. And
You have to play a hard game of burst beating.
Yeah.
Really hard.
no, and even then, she only has to land a counter hit burst. Because she'll never actually try to go for a normal burst. She'll just try to counter hit so she can get.
Honestly, you'd have to try to.
You can't Valor her either, because if she if you're running an optimal Ragyo and you try to Valor her and she's in Valor 1 and you just lost, she just gets to taunt you now for free because Defender Lasers, which give her highest damage combos. Her combos get ridiculous with Defender Lasers because of just all the options they give her. She can whiff so many things and just get cancel she normally wouldn't get because her combo theory basically gets thrown out the window with Defender Lasers. But it's also especially when they're on meter cooldown, she can just get way more damage. SBB, especially when that got buffed. So I do think overall she's better, just still not better enough to really make it out of bottom 2. I still think she's bottom 2, but definitely higher overall in the tier list.
Shocking.
Yeah, I know, shocking. I think it's just mainly because she still keeps her core weaknesses, but her shit's not randomly inconsistent. She does have some benefits from the buffs, mainly just the fact she does way more damage hit for hit. But it's also just because ever since her meter gain got buffed, she can go for Valor so much more often now, which just helps her get her win condition, one of them so much more easily with Valor 1. I do think a lot of her matchups are not really different, but some of them very much, it's mainly just a few of them got major changes I think push her up to B tier, mainly with Duel Ryuko and Inamuda, which used to be her 2 worst matchups, are now honestly like -1 at best. They're not that bad. So she doesn't get oppressed.
And she's and you think something else like Ragyo has other minus matchups, but I don't think she has any extreme minus because if she catches them once,
Uzu and Gamma are extreme.
Except most matchups, if she catches them once, that's usually all she needs.
I would argue against Gamma, he can still get in on JC. He has so much health to work with, and V can back me up on that.
Flying.
Yeah, no, flying Gamma is actually just enough to tank through so many JC stuff because
Well, it's not your tanking.
He's basically just flying over them.
You're just flying over, and then once Ragyo does something, he just dive bombs.
No, because Ragyo's forced to do specific zoning patterns against Gamma that only work on him due to how shackle hopping works. She'll have to do patterns that don't work on anyone else except for him, but even then, he can still circumvent those. It's just harder for him. I would argue Uzu and Gamma are really the only, and maybe Mako's kind of an iffy. If I can keep her attention on the whole game, she's not a threat, but the second she gets attention too, I kind of just die. So
that's a lot of characters.
Well, yeah, that's most of the cast, so I mean, I don't even know if I could consider her as bad as Gamma or Uzu, but Gamma and Uzu are kind of the only 2 that wreck her. But everyone else is mostly just -1 for her, for the most part, aside from like the 3 characters that just kind of get wrecked by her. So I personally think bottom of B tier, but does anyone else think she's places differently?
If anyone uses the washroom, they need to close the door, even to wash their hands. That picks up so well.
Oh shit.
I think I kind of look the list again. Cause I don't think she's
low end of B, because she still can just be beaten by patience.
I think lower end, but I don't think necessarily deep.
It's whether or not we consider her better than Nate right now.
I think I consider her a little bit better than Nui. I would swap Ragyo and Nui.
I think Ragyo wins
Because I think
I can see the argument here because Ragyo does oppress more characters than Nate.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Like, Ragyo has a bit of an easier time against most characters. Like Nui kind of goes more flat with a lot of characters, while Ragyo's able to really go ahead. And Ragyo really only worries about 2 characters. Every other character is it's more worrying about getting the same thing you're always getting.
Yeah, because it's like she's
unless it's on which you're just hitting buttons.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's like because it's like she's negative in some of these, but it's like it's -1. She can still get a hit, but it's mainly because the only reason why she's getting hits is because people want to get in on her, and then she's hitting.
Or you just need to get just the right reaction or the right.
Yeah, or just like try to bait them out.
Just the right hit, which is not that difficult to get when her normals are.
Oh no, her really 5A is amazing.
Her normals are really big, and even also because you neglected to mention this, the fact that she can 6A JBB now.
Yeah.
The fact that she can do that,
I think, is
means that now all of a sudden that 6A is a very good tool of hers.
It's good.
Because it's just it's good startup, but has armor through its entire duration. Which means that if someone's trying to just press a button on her, unless it's a guard break, she just says no. Versus prior, she'd have to punch and they could burst out. Now that does not happen. Now if she gets that 6A, she's going to a JC loop and the opponent can do nothing about it.
Yeah, the only thing they can do is that, like, since of how high 6A sends them, they actually usually can't burst that big bullet at the end, so most of the time Rocky will just be able to hit them, and they're like, what the hell did they do?
I think that's another thing that will make a lot of like the more like mediocre matchups with her are like really scary is that if they are in on her, unless they're using a guard break, even if they need to be an armored guard break too, or a really fast guard break,
Or usually
she's
able to
just
good tracking.
she's just going to be able to say no. If this just 360'd you, now I'm going to zone you, and you really do not have an answer. You have to now answer my zone.
Because I do still think JC is a very cracked move, and I don't think.
Yeah,
it's
so I
gonna
think
stay
that's the
there.
reason why I think she goes above Nui. I don't think
I can
she's
see the
above
argument.
DTR. I just think she's above Nui. I think she handles a lot of matchups a lot better than Nui does.
Yeah, I honestly think you're right at this point. Yeah, put her right above Nui.
Okay.
I think she's good. All right, do Puerto Rico.
Yes. Real quick, Lucha, do you have any input about Raggio?
No.
You agree with all that? You
Because
do?
I don't want to understate. I think a lot of her moves are just cracked. That 5A is not to be underestimated.
Especially when you fucking.
Unless you're fighting DTR.
Yeah. Okay.
That
yeah.
move's garbage.
Oh yeah, no. In
That
some
move's
matchups, 5A does
fucking
nothing.
trash.
In most matchups, it's godlike.
Alright, next is.
Except for like
Rico.
2 characters.
Now we want.
Tony
I
Oda
think,
was here.
I think this is a funny character because obviously Dual Wield is pretty infamous in the community, and all you really did was remove that invuln on her
Yeah.
dash beat, and it is pretty funny how some matchups change a lot, and some don't. My honest opinion, I think she is somewhere in B tier. I think probably above Hoka. 'Cause I feel like she still has. There's still a lot really good with Duo Yugo. She still is very fast. She still hits very hard. Her combos still loop into themselves off of pretty much any starter she wants. She also still has a lot of armor on a lot of her attacks that you just kind of have to deal with sometimes, especially with J Charge B, which I think is going to be a really strong attack that you're going to see Duo using a lot more often in this post patch because of the armor it applies, and it's can be pretty tricky to deal with, especially if they're not being super predictable with when and how they're doing it. So it's going to be something you're going to see a lot. They're going to start doing stuff with, and she still pretty much has all of her same strengths and weaknesses, with the only exception being that again she does not have a get out of jail free invincible loop that she can spam on almost any character. But she still has a lot of options to deal with characters. It's just some of them are not as strong or are now punishable. So I think duels are going to find themselves being punished a bit more if they're ever like relying on dash being in a tough spot. You're going to have to find a different answer, which combos can also still drop sometimes. And that's kind of... They buffed it to be more... Maybe 5's just bad, actually.
Yeah, I'm just bad.
I think 5's just bad, but...
I know one combo.
You know one combo, Lucci? Alright, bet.
Yeah, so overall, I think she's very solid. I think she's incredibly solid, but I feel like she's lacking just a little bit of what's needed to crack the top 5. So that's why I would put her just above Inimuta. She's very strong, she's very solid, she has a very solid matchup chart, especially against certain characters, because there's some characters still have options too, but there are a few that without dash B, I think she's going to struggle a bit more on. Specifically, obviously, with DTR, she's going to struggle. I think even Inamuta could potentially give her a bit of difficulty now, too, since now she does not have a free way in on all of his zoning or all of his spacing around.
Honestly, I think Hoka might actually just beat her. Because before they were just throwing invul at each other. Once she doesn't have that, he's
Well, I feel like I feel like I'm very hesitant because the problem is a lot of how she's been played and how her meta evolved for the past 2 years has just been dash B. I feel like dual players are going to have to relab a lot of these matchups again, kind of relearn how they work, how they function. There are some matchups where dash B was not used too often, like against Nanon. Nanon dash B was not the saving grace in how you handle it. She could handle it still pretty well.
She can.
And I think even Loda showed on stream that Duo can handle Nanon pretty well. She just has to work a bit different. And I feel like that will be the case for a lot of matchups where you're just going to have to, instead of just inballing through whatever the opponent's doing, you're going to have to figure out what to do instead to try and beat or react to what they do. I think she still has the option, still has potential. There's very likely that they actually do find answers for a lot of the matchups that you think she's reliant on, and she's going to just climb back up to top 5. It is very likely. I can see it happening with her. Just currently, with how I see her and the kind of semi-limited knowledge I have with what her options are besides that, I just say number 6, right above Inamuta.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Yeah, her projectiles are a lot faster than you probably think they
With
might
priority.
be. Yeah, they have priority.
and
They're
armor.
fast, and they also are a lot taller than you probably expect.
Yeah, those things are skyscrapers.
And even then, still trying to dodge some of them can put you in a really rough spot. Because then she does like follow up that then just hits you, or if you're
It's also armored, by the way.
if you're blocking them, oh, this one guard crunch, this one has a hit stun. Now she's doing her C ender, and that's just a free hit sometimes. A lot of mix. She's not totally committal on some of her projectile attacks or her charge attacks. She can kind of mix up how she's going to go about something.
Probably
Very
one of the
strong,
fastest
very
outbreaks.
solid character. I think just shy of being an A tier. And I'm actually very interested to see how the character progresses as the players kind of toy around with her a bit more in certain matchups.
So, in my experience, at least living or practicing with Rose through remote play, without dash B, she actually struggles to punish a lot. At least against certain characters, I can say. Like her melee attacks specifically just never work. Like a universal thing for most characters can do is block a homing dash A. She can't do that. It's too slow.
I mean, she can still dash B it.
She can 8A.
Hmm?
She can 8A. Right?
No, it's too slow.
Nope, too slow.
5C
Really?
is too slow.
That is sad.
Well, I feel like something like
That is
I feel like something
sad.
else to consider too is that dash B in and of itself without the involve is still actually pretty good. It is still a move with a
That
lot of
move is
roading. It is
still
still
her
very
best
fast. It does hit in the air as well. It is not ground only. And it does enough damage to break any armor with 600 threshold.
But on block when they are right in front of you, it's too slow. In a lot of situations, I find.
Yeah, I feel like it's a character that you're gonna players are gonna have to relearn some of our options because that for a long time it was go for dash B in this situation because it's just the option that beats everything. Now I feel like it's gonna be maybe a even bit more defensive play. She's not gonna be the aggressive, always in your face, always doing an attack. She's probably gonna have to be more block, wait, sidestep, wait out for a right opening. It's interesting. I think there is definitely potential for this character to move up in the list, as there's also maybe potential to move down a bit, depending on if she actually doesn't have answers. But at the moment, I'm leaving her here. That's where I think she belongs.
Ooh, let me do dual Satsuki combos. Next is dual Satsuki.
Oh boy. Oh
you know
boy.
dual Satsuki combos?
Dual Wildsowski.
I'm sorry.
I think we have a lot to say about her.
I am.
Hopefully this
We all have a lot to say about her.
Luck.
We have a lot to say about her, don't we, Beanbones?
Yeah, we have a decent amount. There we go. Alrighty. So dual Satsuki has always been a good character, as far as I'm aware.
and in the since the last patch, last the game, I would say definitely yes.
Yeah, she's never been bad.
I think she's a character who's just her biggest weakness is just her execution. I think her execution is her biggest weakness since it is very tight and requires a lot of practice to fully get optimized.
Also lag dependent.
But once, I mean, we're assuming offline right now.
Oh yeah, I would assume so.
But once you get these down, once you dedicate the time, you're gonna find a character who can punish so many situations with incredibly fast projectiles. It will shit out damage faster than you can possibly imagine.
EOD around start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her specifically
Two
all
different options actually.
yeah.
Two different options.
She pretty much has very similar strengths to. She's pretty much imagine single Sasaki, but really cranked up to 11, where she has a lot more speed and her hits per second matter a lot more. Her projectiles are a lot stronger, with their only real weakness being that you can homing dash through them. Besides that, those projectiles are obviously incredibly scary and lead her to probably be, take no offense to this Lucha, but I think Sasaki is the defensive character in the game. I think there's no other character in this game who excels better at punishing characters and attacks than Duo Sasaki.
Also the burst baits. Can't forget those.
Yeah,
She's really good at that.
Yeah, she is fast. She hits hard, especially when she's countering the opponents. Her combos aren't really burstable, and she will TOD you without hesitation. And I think all of that puts me to think. I think she is definitely in the top 5.
Yeah.
The only thing I am unsure on is whether or not to put her above Mako. That's the only thing I am unsure on. Which I'll leave to y'all to discuss on whether you think that's where she
take a
belongs.
list of this tier list real quick.
Yeah.
Hold on. Yeah, let me see. The Gamagori, I think she beats Gamagori, depending on map. Honestly, if it's a small map, obviously Gamagori at that point he just has to win.
Yeah.
I think Nanan still beats Duo Satsuki. Uzu though. Iron. Uzu Duo Satsuki.
I think that's Duo
What about
Sasuke.
Dash
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think that's Duo Sasuke. As soon as Uzu has to dedicate to anything, 'cause I think Duo Sasuke is a similar case to Uzu, where she didn't change except for the fact that certain matchups she struggled in no longer really exist. I think right now, I could argue the only matchup that exists that she actually is going to be struggling is DTR. I think DTR is really the only de facto. Yeah, I just kind of lose. I think a lot of other matchups, she's just going to be able to handle really well, really consistently. Once you obviously learn how to do the combos and how they function. I think she has the capabilities of taking on every single character except DTR.
What about Nanan?
It's tough for Nanan. Nanan. I don't think she just outright loses to Nanan. But if Nanan gets her win condition, she does just lose. But
It's hard for her to get that win.
but
It's hard.
it's dicey. It really
It is dicey, especially because that charge B is so fast, especially from a sidestep too. It's just gonna be immediate. So if Nanan does a single wrong option, especially early in the game, she's just gonna get hit. And Nanan isn't on the lowest end of the health pool, but it's still low enough that
Low
Duo
enough that she
Sasuke
will
is
get one
going
tap.
to go into one tap, eat through that health bar.
Actually, is she the only true round start Todd option character anymore besides DTR? Even DTR against certain
do character specific calls count or just
just generally speaking.
I think just generally, 'cause I think character specific Todd, you're talking about either Inmuta or DTR.
or Ragyo?
Yeah, well, in general, just everyone outside of Ragyo and Gamagori. Does she just one tap everybody outside of the highest L pools?
I think she has the potential to. I think I haven't seen enough Duo Sasuke action, but it's more of like what I have seen has just kind of reconfirmed my placement that before she was always like the top of the high tier, but now the top tiers are not nearly as good, most of them at least. So I think now this is kind of more Sasuke's chance to really shine because now, she's not as a lot of lower tiers that got buffed. I don't think those changed the matchups with her too much. It's just more like she has to worry about this or that more often. But overall, I think her strengths are still there in spades, and they are huge. And that's why I honestly thought that she goes above Nanan. No, I mean Mako. She goes above Mako for me.
Luigi, anything? You fought Duo Satsuki fair.
She loses to SBR. I think some of her matchups actually did change a fair bit. Not because of change to Duo Satsuki, because of changes to other characters. I'd actually put her beneath Maka, but that's the only difference I'd say.
Right.
I'd say same tier, but
They're like
She does get a fair bit of
same
meter.
spot basically.
she does a lot of damage and she can TOD really easy, but she also gives a fair bit of meter, which makes it kind of easy to just not take the TOD at all.
That's fair. The only if you get hit round started, you're taking a lot of damage though.
I was debating whether or not to put her above Uzu, but then I kind of remembered her Valor. It's not exactly the best.
Yeah, her metered options. What was it? Her SBA is her true.
I think she can also combo with Special B, but
I mean, her supers are kind of just.
Yeah, she can
fodder.
combo into
and obviously her Special C is just instantaneous, an instantaneous guard break that if it wants match you can just.
And she can combo it into itself too.
Yeah,
She can, like,
Also, it's an unblockable setup.
It is
Yeah.
because it's instantaneous. It's just
Remember Dash Ace
instantaneous.
Special C?
Dash
It's
special
just instantaneous, just guard break.
Yeah.
She just open you up for free. Not to say for free.
I'm debating
But
whether or not I do think she's top 3 or 4 or 5, but
that's why I'm just putting her just kind of there. 'Cause I feel like it's
top 4 to play it safe.
I think we'd almost. It's more play it safe because I feel like I want to see her in action a lot more.
Yeah, I thought.
But I feel like just kind of from what I know of how she functions and how I've seen her work, I think that's just kind of a very safe place to put her because a lot of the problem matchups she's worried about don't really exist anymore. I think the other matchups that got changed she can deal with.
Like, no, because I remember me and Fia, me and you talked about this. How we think like Duo Satsuki playing passively
It's like
is like the best way for her to play.
Yes, it is. It is so strong if she just plays passively.
I
Just
do
waits
think-
for the opponent to commit to literally anything.
I do think if more players like could dedicate to play more passively with her, I think
I think that's.
She could
I think.
support
I
her.
think it's a similar case to Nui, where I think Nui's strengths really shine, which is in
with defensive,
in defensive passive playstyle. But it's just like it's not the playstyle everyone's inclined to do, which I can respect. But at the same time, it's like I personally
there's a
feel
lot of characters in the game that if you a lot of times if you
defense
just play
in this game is
defensively,
huge. And speaking of defense, look at the next character we're talking
There we
about.
go.
Oh boy.
Speaking
I-
of
Speak of the
defense-
devil.
Alucci, you want in on?
It's
You're getting in
your-
on this, right?
We'll let Alucci take over this.
It's your turn. The
nerd.
broken top 1 character.
Yeah.
I don't exactly have a speech prepared for you. For this.
You know, well, you just gotta tell us how
Just
you
talk.
feel.
Let's talk about how you
Just
feel
talk
she's in
about
the patch.
what
What changed?
where you think she is. How good do you think she is, and why?
And then we'll give our thoughts.
So the changes to the universal system mechanics, like changes to her homing dash, that helps a lot. Also being able to hit people in the air with more moves now. That just makes her job a lot easier. Like she was developed to be a rushdown character, right? And I feel like having moves in your moveset that are hard coded to not hit people in the air. Also having homing dash that does a lot more committal than everyone else in the roster, that just makes her job a lot harder than it was supposed to be. And the changes to that, those two alone, I think that works fucking wonders. Like it's a lot easier to navigate zoning with certain characters now, just being able to cancel. And it also I didn't think about this during it, but it also adds to the mix-up game for sure. Like,
Oh.
Ow, baby.
People get tripped out over shit like that, and then it's like it makes dash C cancel a lot scarier for sure.
Because then you can just jump over it.
Which side? Like, wait, what the fuck? People think I'm gonna commit, so they try to It's just easier to make people think I'm gonna commit. And
Yeah, then now your burst options are just that much scarier because now like, there's just less options to counter it.
And then that on top of her strengths in base game is, I mean, not the best damage in the game, but still pretty solid all around. Really strong burst baiting. A lot of pretty good committal tools in neutral, like dash C canceling, and now like the air homing dash. Yeah, I mean, I think she went those two changes alone.
Really helped her.
Yeah, no, they brought her from mid tier to a high to top tier. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing I have to say is they really made her a character that couldn't hit anyone out of the airborne with a bunch of moves, and gave her an 8A that really also couldn't do that either.
Yeah. Well, it's a weird, like, I'm honestly kind of cool with this 8A. I have no personal, like, major gripes with it, because it's still all really fast.
It saves you so many times. It would be
So
like
fast.
it'd be sacrilege to like shit talk it after everything is done for you.
Yeah.
Trick, and I don't feel like it needs to be changed at all.
But I feel like it's good, but for a different purpose than a normal 8A's job.
Yeah. It's not the traditional anti-air for sure. It's more like just a classic.
Just trying to find a
Get
place
off
to
me
like
button, really.
say it that doesn't mess up with the mic.
Okay. First base election. Yeah, she's still.
You could,
Video's almost over.
You could probably just move it. I'll hold it in your hand.
Yeah, I got
Keep it on this side. Keep it near you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, she still struggles against
Zoning.
range for sure. Yeah, because this isn't exactly the
Sorry about all that love.
the greatest tool in the game. She one thing she struggles against is with punishing from a distance, because at a certain point this is her only option, and when it's that slow, it's like, I can't really get a hit. But that's the only major weakness I could think of, and then mainly just that, honestly, just struggling from getting not.
She also has steady normals.
she does have at least special A to punish from range now.
Yeah.
So special A at least. I mean, that's one other option, but yeah, I get it. Yeah, she can't really hit most people from range. I mean, that's no one for you.
But other than that, yeah, that was the only major weakness I could think of. So, fuck, I'd fit her at the top of A or bottom of S.
I don't think she's as dominant as the top two.
No?
Yeah, I don't think she's that impressive.
I don't think she's like.
I was gonna say
Glory,
somewhere in A
Lana.
tier. But like, I don't know where in A tier.
I'd put her at the top of A tier.
In front of Uzu.
Yeah.
I mean, she does beat
Easy.
you.
I mean, she beats Uzu, but
that depends on like comparing matchup spread at that point.
yeah, we're.
I feel like post patch she has a much more generous matchup spread
I mean, who do
because
you think she loses to then?
DTR,
Not on.
DTR,
And
Nanon, and
Gamagori.
potentially Gamagori. So yeah.
So two actual bad matchups and one
after
one
that,
unfortunate bad matchup.
After that, I mean, I think I don't think you weren't here for Nui, but I still
Actually-
think Nui's even.
What?
I feel like Nui's probably even with SBR still.
Oh, I agree.
Just because of, even though SBR got nerfs to hit Nui out of the air, Nui also got nerfs to a meter and shit, and now SBR has to respect as well.
Actually,
So they both go both ways to the point that.
Ryuko being able to hit people out of the air really helps her against Gamma. Actually, he can't just shackle in her face anymore. He can eat a whole dash C for that now.
I haven't actually gotten experience with that matchup.
Well, I still feel
Yeah,
like
next time I
Gamagori
play
is still
you.
gonna be just as strong in certain situations. Like if
Oh,
he
yeah,
just
but
just says "fuck you" 5C,
Mm-hmm.
it's still just gonna deny SBR what she wants.
Yeah. It's just a case of like that one option that kind of just shut her down entirely is
Yeah,
now.
well, I think it's a similar case where like now Gamagori is in same as DTR, where like instead of it being like near unwinnable, it's now like a
Just a
minus,
bad
it's like a
matchup.
-2. It's just a bad matchup. Like she can win if he messes up enough, or if he gets like the right opening. But
Right. Before you could just, oops, I messed up
it
literally
is, at
everything
least,
I did.
it is at least possible now. Versus instead
SBC.
my day one Gamma just BAing him in block and him not being able to do a thing about it.
Wait, just one thing. Wait, didn't he say how many characters did Uzu lose to before?
Honestly, probably just.
Well, then wouldn't it make more sense for him to be above Ryuko if he loses to less characters?
I think so.
I feel like
I feel like it doesn't make sense for me for like to have a character.
Wait,
that
also,
loses
part of
more.
being-
I feel like something else is not just a matter of how many you lose to, but how many you beat.
It's not just.
I think SBR doesn't beat many characters, but she doesn't lose to many. I don't think she loses to many. I think she just
She's not as oppressive as Uzu, I think.
yeah. Like, I think Uzu will beat more characters than SBR does.
One strength I forgot to mention, just her combo game. That's really important because she has a lot of combo routes off of each possible starter, whether it's 5A or a range melee confirm or a guard break confirm. It's always just like which combo am I gonna go into next based on. She can always just kind of like accommodate for the current situation.
And whether she
Like-
wants to spend meter, whether she wants to wall splat,
Whether they
she
have the meter
wants
to
the power or
burst,
something.
so it's like she always is just ready for the situation.
We also have to talk about metered options. She has a fantastic Valor 1. SBA is also fantastic, and SBB also hits like a truck.
my specialty though.
Yo, God, go! Nerf it, Iger! Nerf it! Best special scene in the
Yeah.
game. That move is trash.
But aside, no, Lucci, you don't agree with a couple things on this list.
Want to give your take on some of the things?
Yeah,
Logan,
because you agree with the S tiers. Do you agree with Satsuki being worst character of the game at the moment?
I can do that. I agree with that.
You agree with that? All right.
What about B
Well,
tier?
I
Anything
put-
in B
B
tier
tier,
that
B tier.
strike you wrong?
Hoka, we just need to see more of. But the main thing I'm not sure about is Mako being at the bottom of A tier instead of higher in A tier,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe even.
I mean, honestly, A tier is all roughly similar.
Like,
in
it's all
strength.
high tier.
Yeah, they-
Like,
they're all
A
about the
tier
same.
are on very similar ground. So at the end of the day, you can feel like it's unordered because I feel like they all share very similar.
Even in order, like it's still A tier. This is still like
Yeah, like
good
I feel like they're
characters.
all still they're roughly the same like strength. They're all
Yeah.
roughly the same as viability.
Mako's just a really hard character to
She's
gauge
so
because of
hard.
tension.
She's bad until she isn't.
Like I've been trying to gauge mostly on how I think
Honestly,
How easy is
how
it to
how
keep her
easy I
attention
think other characters keep her attention one.
Honestly, you can
And
put
that's why I put
you
it
can
in.
put a Mako on each one of these tiers for each one of her tension.
Okay, no, tension 4 would literally be at like above Gamma, then tension 1 would be like below Satsuki.
Yeah, no,
So
honestly.
is this anyone have any other discretions with this tier list?
Aside from me thinking SBR should be below Uzu, that's kind of my only complaint.
Mhm.
I think that, yeah, as well.
Because I just think,
We'll have to
especially Uzu with Valor, It's
like
insane.
you guys said, A tier is interchangeable, right?
Yeah, A tier is so
A tier,
close.
you could literally put any of those A tier characters
Like,
at top.
honestly,
there's
yeah.
an argument for it. There's an argument for Duo
Literally
Satsuki
all
at
four
top.
of them.
There's an argument
Yeah,
that
I know.
Uzu's actually the
Uber
worst in
below
A tier.
Uzu.
Like
Yeah.
there's literally an argument for any of them.
If anyone told me they feel like a character should be at the top of A tier, I'd be like, yeah, I can see where you're coming from.
There's a legitimate argument for that.
I guess it's just, like, in my personal opinion, I guess the best argument I do see is for Uzu.
Mhm.
I
Well,
think,
yeah, that's
I
good.
think something else I want to distinguish too about these tiers is that the differences between each one isn't very extreme. I feel like the differences between C and B isn't very extreme. It's kind of a bit slight. B and A is again a bit more slight, just a bit more advantageous. And then A and S is the same way.
Mhm.
Obviously, if you compare C to S, it's very night and day.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like you're almost adding one each time, and then eventually add instead of adding 3.
Yeah.
So I think the characters in between each tier, they're pretty similar. They kind of can handle each other very well. Obviously, some changes probably will keep coming. I don't think a single way Sasuke is gonna stay down there forever. I think some stuff's probably gonna be coming her way soon eventually. Potentially maybe for Gamon on, who fucking knows. It's really up to Iron how he feels that balancing should be done. Potentially even as done to the community and how they think what's more fair and proper, because we do not want another case of dual Ryuko where we have one definitive top tier dominating everything, and we don't also want another case of a Nui where there's just one character guaranteed at the bottom. We just can't really do anything. An ideal list, I feel, would probably be only A and B tiers.
Yeah.
Same, honestly.
I feel like that would be an ideal list. We're probably all striving to create.
Just get everyone to like.
And I have confidence that with enough time, with enough changes, patches, whatever, we're gonna have that instance where every character feels usable. There might still be really bad matchups. I feel like there's nothing
bad matchups
there's
are bound to happen.
nothing you can do to change.
It's just how this game is.
You cannot change Nanamako. There's just no way you're changing that unless you completely neuter Nanan or completely destroy Mako.
Right, like you have to you literally have to take out like Nanan's enhanced system. You have to take out Mako's
like
tension
there
system.
are going to be matchups like that. Also look at DTR. He's going to be very similar. He's going to either dominate some matchups or completely just get wrecked in others. And I think that's just going to be the unfortunate nature, but hopefully we'll do it in a more balanced way where it's not every matchup. It's not an extreme amount one way or the other, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
All right, any other thoughts?
No, I think that we're good. We got our list, our tier maker list. All right, enjoy.
Enjoy. I cannot wait. We're gonna post this with no context in the
my
Kill
God.
channel, and we're gonna see how many people get salty.
Yo, SBR and a tier broken character.
No, make it SBR tier.
It is just
Put it right
so
up there.
funny looking at tiers for this game and seeing Hoka and Dual Ryuko in B tier.
SBR is top 3.
After all of the knowledge that we've accumulated for years, seeing that, it looks so wrong.
In the
Like,
same
I am
rank
so
as Ragyo and
I am so tempted to be like, why
Like
are
how
they
Raku
doing
and you just took them from C tier. They're still in the same order. Put them up 1 tier.
Yeah.
They're both still together. They'll never be separated.
inseparable?
Yo, watch. They get buffed. They both go up to S. They're still
We're
together. They're still
gonna
together.
ignore the fact that I put both of my mates in bottom 4.
Yo, based. Downplay Bones, you
Downplay it.
I'm happy
Downplay.
that 2 of mine are in A. I'm also sad that Single Blade Satsuki is just getting shunted.
I think it's just more she didn't really get many changes. So she's the same while the characters who are worse than her got better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's just a
Is
side
it better
effect.
than her.
That's a side effect of when your only change is giving less meter. That's not a huge change that's actually gonna compared to what Nui got, compared to what Ragyo can do now.
That's also
Well, yeah.
what tends to happen to Shotos.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to, yeah.
I feel like Sasuke's gonna be a really interesting one to try and balance and not make her broken or.
I feel like if a couple more tweaks, and I think she's got it.
I really think she needs minor changes, yeah.
Yeah, like she has, on paper, her things work. Like her tools on paper are good. It's just the numbers on them I don't think are very, the priority on some of her projectiles. It's kind of sad.
Like, if I could
The
say
damage she outputs is kind of sad. The meter she gives is kind of sad.
It's also one thing. It's also just because, I might be a little biased since I do play a character who does snowball, but it's like Sasuke. I also feel like even when she even gets Annie gets that hit in, what is she? I feel like she almost never gets anything after that. What does she really have for Oki aside from maybe doing 5C? People can
No,
just,
you don't 5C. You literally
It really isn't an Oki. It's just kind of you have to get that hit again.
Yeah, I know he's a
Yeah.
slave. I know.
Yeah, that's great.
But it's I just kind of feel like she also doesn't really gain much of an advantage, even when she's the one that got the hit in. It's like she's just so underwhelming. And you just go back to neutral and, oh great, you'll burst her 50 times again and kill her if you hit her once.
Yeah.
It's just how it is.
But I think we should probably wrap this up right now.
Yeah, I
People, it's late.
2 hours and 26 minutes.
Yeah.
We're almost as long as
It's
the
4
actual
o'clock in the
like,
morning.
It's almost 4 in the morning, baby.
I love our rambles. Let's go.
Yo,
Let's
good,
go.
dude.
All
But
right.
Just
we
take
have
10 hours longer
definitive
than it needs
things.
to.
I will do this, if possible.
Yeah.
Can I see it?
Down. Yeah.
So
Up there.
there.
Up there. Click that.
Again, it's
You got it. You got it.
All right.
You just copy the image.
Still wait, Fee.
Oh, yeah.
Actually,
You
no,
can,
both
Brian.
of
You
them.
should probably just turn off stream.
Hey,
Yeah.
let's wait Fee
Yeah.
and
But
Bones.
yeah, so that is it for us. So
See you later.
We are unfortunately your pro players now.
yes.
Yeah.
Deal with
Top
it.
4, baby.
Gotta deal with it.
Yeah, so see you guys when we all get home.
Yeah, and then I can't wait to ping for more games.
Yes.
And get nothing.
And get nothing.
You're in the same boat with me.
Can't wait to
Let's
drop
go.
this game for Monster Hunter again.
No, don't worry.
Yo,
about it.
watch. You'll be gone for another year again.
Yeah, I got some break. I'm fine.
And then then we'll downplay DTR again. Then you gotta bring it back up.
Exactly. That's how it works.
Fucking, it's so incredible.
Oh no, like downplay her and then get one player to bring her back.
Okay, but yeah. See you guys.